Eagle 98.1 Game Day is on.
Presented by your local Super Chevy dealers and Home Bank. Good for business, good for life.
This is LSU football.
Snap back to Nussmeier. Again off to Kane. Kane with a little bit of a hole. Breaks the tackle at the 41. Down the middle of the field. Runs into traffic at the 15. Breaks away at the 5. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. Catch to Thomas. Gets away from his defender near side at the 45. The 35. The 30. 25, 20. Katie bar the door. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers.
LSU football on Eagle 98.1, the flagship home of the Tigers. Tonight, from Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama, it's the LSU Tigers and the Auburn Tigers. Now,
Here's Charles Hanagriff and Matt Musso.
Rouse's corner of Burbank and Lee. Welcome to Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Getting you ready for tonight's battle between the LSU Tigers and the Auburn Tigers. LSU comes in with a record of 3-1, a 38-0 winner against New Mexico last week. LSU, a squad that has been improving since their opening game loss to Florida State. They found some continuity on the offensive line. They're running the football better. The defensive communication has improved, and even some, although not all, of the special team snafus have been fixed. Conference schedule is here. The teeth of the LSU schedule is here. The non-conference portion largely over, and even with a wounded Auburn team, a trip to Jordan-Hare is no small ask. Well, so they're trying to get a little bit of momentum built up here, because it really starts to ratchet up next week when Tennessee visits. But first things first, LSU got to go in and take care of a wounded Auburn team, I would say.
Wounded Auburn team with a coach on the ropes, Annie. It's time to get weird, right? That's what happens in this series all the time. You said it right there. They're building momentum, but next week and really right now, 6 straight weeks of conference play, you're better than a touchdown favorite in this game for the first time since, on the road, I should say, for the first time since 2012. High expectations for LSU tonight, but still a lot to get right.
Auburn comes in also with a record of 3-1, though it feels a lot different. Their 17-14 win in overtime last week against Missouri was, shall we say, fortuitous. A point-blank field goal that Missouri missed at the end of regulation and a fumble into the end zone that resulted in a game-ending touchback allowed Auburn to escape with the W. Brian Harsin is, shall we say, in a tenuous position. I don't even know if that does it justice. Seemingly on the hot seat from the day the plane landed in Auburn, Alabama for him. They are on, I would say, their third quarterback, although Calzada really never got into the mix because of an injury. Most Auburn teams that we see have an identity. They are usually physical. They can usually run the football very well. They can usually stop the run. This Auburn team has been none of those things so far this season.
The struggles for them getting Tank Bigsby going is kind of dumbfounding. We've seen that guy throughout his career at Auburn be a really, really solid top-tier SEC running back. That has not been the case this year. And look, LSU, their defensive front seven, Brian Harsin talked about it this week. That's a formidable group, and Auburn's going to be missing their, now on, I believe, their third center right now. So it's going to be tough for them to get the run game going against LSU tonight. That's a big advantage for the Purple and Gold Tigers.
Our entire ESPN Baton Rouge staff will be with us today. Also, Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl with our scouting report. Shay Dixon from On 3 talking about recruiting. Zach Blackerby covering the Auburn Tigers, and we'll keep you up to date on the scores as they go across. Will Aaron Judge just please hit a home run so we can watch college football? For crying out loud, just hit the damn thing. We'll take a break. Gordy Rush joins us when we come back. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your...
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session.
Offense. Presented by Gulf Coast Bank. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
Now, here's Charles Hanagriff. And from the LSU Sports Radio Network, Gordy Rush.
We're back.
Your call has been forwarded to
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues here from Rouse's, corner of Burbank and Lee. And we're presented today by LouisianaCharterFishing.com. The catch and cook fishing experience is happening from all the way to the beginning of the regular season till the end of the regular season. At the end of the season, one grand prize winner will be randomly selected and notified. The grand prize winner will enjoy lodging and a charter fishing trip for themselves and a friend, along with special guest Chef Jay Ducote. The crew will enjoy a full day of fun on the water and get to go catching with one of Louisiana's best captains. And after fishing, the grand prize winner and their guests will head back to the camp with Chef Jay Ducote back for an unforgettable cookout and dinner for all. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for anybody who loves fishing, food, and fun. And entering to win is easy. For a chance to win, all you have to do is visit GoCatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com and complete the contest registration form. That's GEAUX catch.com. And 5 runners-up will also be selected to win a LouisianaCharterFishing.com prize pack, and those are valued at over $100. So go and register today at GoCatch.com. Bring in Gordy Rush now to talk a little LSU and Auburn. Gordy, good afternoon.
Hey, how are you? Beautiful day over here in Montgomery, Alabama. Team's going to take off just before 3 o'clock to head over to Jordan-Hare Stadium.
It certainly has a different feel, Gordy. And to say that it has a different feel in an LSU-Auburn game, could mean just about anything because we've seen some of the most bizarre scenarios happen in this series. So I know you're not in Auburn, Alabama, but just on the trip, you guys have got to be hearing some stuff because I don't know that I've ever seen a coach quite as embattled as Brian Harsin, and we've seen plenty.
Well, I can tell you this, usually for years, Auburn stayed across the street in Montgomery from LSU, and it's a unique setting. There's an embassy suite and a Renaissance. They're no longer staying here, but at least you would have people that would travel from the west part and stay in Montgomery because there's not a lot of hotels in Auburn, and you can't find an Auburn fan here. So it's been a really interesting stay here in Montgomery, and obviously there's a whole lot of upheaval here, but it's been really quiet for the 18 hours that we've been in Montgomery.
Let's talk about the LSU offense, and I don't know how much you can pull from a game against New Mexico. They piled up well over 600 yards. They left a couple of scores on the table with some penalties. But, Gordy, what did you take from last week's romp?
Yeah, again, I think they continue to twist and turn the Rubik's Cube and try to get the right pieces in place on this offense, and also I think the right plays, and to me it's the right tempo, and we've talked about this on your handicaps. It's where's Jane Daniels most comfortable? Where does he get into a rhythm, and where is he best at recognition and identifying the things that you need to do to be successful? You go to the first half against Florida State, and Coach Kelly talked about some of the issues that he had in that game. And then he got off to a sluggish first quarter start against a Mississippi State. To me, it's no huddle, and you want to go tempo, but it's not NASCAR tempo. I think they've kind of gotten comfortable with that. They're doing a better job of attacking the outside thirds, in my opinion, with some running and some short passing games that is opening up running lanes in the middle of the football field. I think they've got to continue to be able to do that. And for me, I think offensively they're finding their identity. They need to run the football better with the running backs and not be as dependent on Daniels in the running game to pick up that percentage of the total yardage that he's been doing the first 4 games.
We'll see another offensive line today, another combination with the absence of Garrett Dellinger at the left guard. They're going to move Miles Frazier over to that side from the right guard, and Anthony Bradford, who has been, I would call him a mostly starter on the right side at that guard position. Gordy, I was starting to feel better about the offensive line continuity. How big of a setback is this today that they've got to change again?
We'll see. I mean, in Auburn, Auburn's best part of their defense is their defensive front. They're young up there, but it's Auburn. They're going to be big and they're going to be physical. I think that Frazier has obviously played a lot of football. I don't think it's a huge deal, but still, as you're trying to build consistency, and you've heard me talk through the years about the offensive line is kind of like a dance unit. They're all in unison. They've got to be able to communicate. So when every time that you make a change in there, you break up the chemistry that you're building. It's a concern. Is it a huge concern? I don't know.
I got asked, I was a guest on a show this morning, got asked about Kayshon Boutte, and I said, well, I don't have a good answer for you. So I'll ask you and see if you've got a better answer than the one I came up with which is this the game where they really make a conscious effort to get him involved? Where is he mentally? He missed last week because of the birth of his child. But is there going to be a conscious effort to get him the ball, or is at this point he's just one of the receivers and not somebody that they're making an effort to focus on?
Yeah, I get he's going to start, and I get the vibe that I think there is going to be an interest to get Boutte more involved with that. We talked about that Besh played out well in the slot, and they kicked Neighbors out wide in Boutte's absence. I think they're going to try and get him the football tonight against Auburn. He's had a good week of practice, and again, you get the vibe that it's trending that direction.
All right. When we talk about the tight ends on this team, I wanted to ask you about Taylor, because at the beginning of the season it looked like he was going to be really involved in the offense, and he's certainly playing a lot. Might this be a game where we see them look in his direction a little bit?
Yeah, I think in spots. I think it's just going to be one of those things to keep a defense honest, and especially if defenses start going to a spy, using a spy on Daniels, because that's normal. That defender often would be somebody who was responsible for the tight end, either in man or his zone. It's in the middle of the football field. I think it's just a couple push, a couple touches here and there, just to keep defenses honest, because they're so talented at the wide receiver position. And then Coach Kelly talked about that in his presser and on his Thursday radio show, that he likes 11 personnel because he thinks it gives them the best chance to run a football game. They've run more 12 in the past at other places he's been, meaning 2 tight ends. But because of how talented they're at wide receiver, they're not going to take somebody off the football field. So I don't see a major role for Mason Taylor catching the football other than 1 or 2, just again that you have to account for him in pass coverage.
Gordy, they won't have Armani Goodwin tonight. He's out. He kind of emerged as your starting running back. Obviously, you expect John Emery to move up into that role. Noah Cain showed out pretty well at the end of last game. Expectations for that group without Armani Goodwin tonight?
Yeah, by committee, I think Josh probably starts, if you may, my guess. All of them play. I think the question is John Emery in game shape, right? He missed some time during fall camp. Charlie, we've talked about it. You go out, and I've seen, I saw Brian Kelly's Thursday practice. Get out there. When he's telling you that his practices are harder than a game, it's fact. They run that many more plays per minute, per second, whatever the metric is. And if you miss some of that, not only are you missing the offense and the little nuances in it, but I wonder, are you in game shape? So I think now with Armani out, how much ground has Emery made up? He had 11 carries, I believe, against Mississippi State, and now you didn't have to burn him against New Mexico. I'll be interested to see what share of the plays and the carries he gets tonight against Auburn.
We'll take a break. We're here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery. If you are picking up some stuff to cook up for the game tonight, everything you need right here at Rouse's. And remember, at Rouse's, we never, ever, ever run out of ice. We'll take a break, come back and look at the LSU defense when we return. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session.
Defense. Presented by Edward Jones, making sense of investments. Now here's Charles Hanagriff.
And from the LSU Sports Radio Network, Gordy Rush.
Back here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Gordy, Auburn has shuffled quarterbacks going all the way back into camp. Calzada is out for the year. TJ Finley, we don't expect today at all. It's going to be Robbie Ashford, the freshman. So what does the offense look like with him, and not under center, but at the controls?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great athlete. Played at Hoover High School, was a dual thread guy, dual sport, athlete that got on the field first up in Eugene. He signed with Oregon as an outfielder and played a little bit there, and then transferred here. Very fast, talking to folks, still, I think, learning the offense, runs a little too much east and west. He needs to run north and south a little bit more, but they're spread the run team, and they're going to try and run the football with Tank Bigsby and the running backs they have. So I think they're a little one-dimensional, and I think it plays in, to me, it plays in LSU's hands, and that, the way LSU's playing defensively. So they're not dynamic on offense. They haven't been dynamic on offense. And you also get the feeling, talking to some Auburn people, that there were some frustrations with TJ Finley and turning the ball over and some of the things that we saw in 2020 when he was with LSU. So, they've had some time to work on it. So we'll see what little wrinkles that they put in. But Ashford is more of a run-first guy and has struggled to be consistent in the pass game.
Gordy, it's awfully unusual to look down at the SEC stats and see that Auburn is 10th in the league in rushing, especially with a back as talented as Bigsby. So why haven't they been able to run the football more effectively?
Well, it's just they haven't been good offensively. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the biggest thing. And if you're not balanced, then you're going to see people allocate more defenders to the run game, try and outnumber you in the box and dare you to throw the football. And I think that's what we'll see tonight.
All right, I want to move on to special teams here for a moment. Now, call me foolishly optimistic. I am encouraged a little bit by – hear me out, okay? Musso's already laughing at me.
I'm going.
Okay. I am of the opinion that since the beginning of the season, when everything was a mess, that they have fixed some things. The protection on the kicks has gotten better since the beginning. And I think last week they went a long way towards fixing two other things with personnel changes. Jack Besh is the easy one to see because, he had the touchdown, got called back. But we feel like with his experience in high school as a punt returner, that he will secure the catch, and he's going to provide you with an opportunity to possibly break some too. But the other one might not have been as noticeable because most of the people had cleared out of the stadium by the time Nathan Dilbert started kicking off. And he's not very big, but he drilled both of those kickoffs through the end zone, Gordy. So I'm hopeful that those two personnel changes will make big changes for LSU today.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the squib kick has been a mess in the execution of it. Either they've kicked the ball out of bounds, I believe, twice, and they've kicked the ball to the returner, which you don't want to do. And we've talked about that. You kick it out of the end zone, or you sky kick it because you sky kick it to an up back because everybody's taught the up back basically to fair catch it and take the ball at the 25. And so it's been an interesting strategy, or been interesting to watch some teams, I think 10-15% of the time, have tried to pin people inside the 25-yard line. And to me, it's not worth the risk. It's not worth having starters cover. Go ahead and put your third-string guys out there, a couple walk-ons out there. Let them play. Let them get experience. And I'm going to take the ball at the 25, or I'm going to give the team the ball at 25, because I think the majority of the special teams coaches or coaches will go ahead and take that. And so I hope that they go forward with that, because the squib kick is just it's been a mess.
Yeah, here's the numbers. Ramos had 24 kickoffs to the point last week where they replaced him. He'd only put 10 into the end zone for touchbacks. Dilbert, excuse me, I don't know if he can do this every time, but he was 2 for 2 last week. So I want to see more, because I think you finally do have a guy that is capable of kicking the ball out of the end zone most of the time, if not. Gordy, I'm going to ask you about Harsin, his job security. I know that you don't have the for sure answer. None of us do, but I'll just ask you your opinion. Last week, the talk was if they had lost to Missouri, he was going to be fired. Same thing this week. If you lose to LSU, he's going to be fired. My thing is, what if they beat LSU, and next week you're playing Georgia, you're going to fire the guy for beating Georgia? So is this just a matter of time here? Is that what we're talking about?
I think so. And I mean, let's talk about Harsin's camp. There's a lot of smoke that he is the guy they wanted at Arizona State. He had a great run at Boise State, and a lot of people are looking at him. He's a guy that's been here 1 year. He inherited a mess and all the above. And so if I'm Brian Harsin, how much longer do I want to be at Auburn? Yeah. I mean, it's almost like, here, wait me out. You go ahead and fire me, because I'm going to get the money I'm entitled to. And how long are we going to play this charade? So the problem I have, and knowing as much as I do about Auburn, who's really making the decision here? And they put an interim, AD in. That's an Auburn guy. Got here, heard that before. And so the people that are really rooted in there, that were anti-Harden, are there. You have that going on. And if you're gonna make a move on Harsin, then who's making the hire at this point? And
the boosters. The boosters.
And somebody mentioned to me, does Lane Kiffin want to come to Auburn? And the answer right now is no. No coach in their right mind wants to go to Auburn, because they don't know who they're going to work for and whether or not there's going to be the alignment that Brian Kelly and Scott Woodward have. I mean, that's the most important thing in the world right now. So, I think until you address who's going to be your athletic director, do you really solve this? I mean, if you got the interim athletic director and interim head coach, I mean, you have an absolutely dumpster fire going on. It's even worse than what you have now. So I don't know the answer to all that, but I think Brian Harsin is going to be coaching somewhere else, maybe in Tempe or in another open position next year, and we'll see how Auburn plays out.
They ask you 3 questions when you interview at Auburn to be the coach. What is your offensive philosophy? What is your defensive philosophy? And how do you feel about Yellowwood? I mean, those are basically the 3. Okay, Gordy, have a good call and a safe trip back. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, guys, take care.
One of the most unusual happenings in college football this entire season just happened. Iowa just scored a touchdown. I can't believe my eyes. Iowa actually scored a touchdown. Jimmy out with us. When we come back, we'll take a look across the landscape of college football. We're here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery. And here at Rouse's, come by and get a cold draft beer while you're shopping. And remember, we never run out of ice. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Otterlocks. Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs. Now, here's Jimmy Ott.
And we bring in Jimmy Ott across the landscape of college football. Some strange stuff going on. Iowa did get that touchdown. They took it off the board, but then they put it. They did get the touchdown on a 1-yard run. So it is 22-6, 20-7 now. The extra point is good. Jimmy, how you doing?
Doing good, Charlie. Doing good. Over here in Natchez, watching the game from the sports book.
Let's talk about Ole Miss and Kentucky. They are at the end of 3 quarters. Ole Miss has got a 3-point lead, and Kentucky's looking at 4th and 3 from the Ole Miss 32. And they're also looking at, if you're squeamish, don't look at the pictures of Will Levis's finger because it's crooked in the wrong direction. Yeah. But you know what, Jimmy? I was concerned for Kentucky that he would not be able to deliver the football. In the second half, it looks like he has not lost any zip off the fastball. What do you think?
No, that pass where he just threw the incompletion downfield. I mean, he had a lot of zip on that ball. So I think his arm strength is fine. Will it affect his accuracy? Maybe. So he's never been the most accurate. I mean, really touch thrower around. Kind of hit and miss with his accuracy. But this is a case where Ole Miss had a chance to kind of 13-0 right out the chute, and they outgained Kentucky 340 to 213. But here's Kentucky just hanging around. A huge. I don't see how Stoops says he's got to go for it here. It's kind of a long field goal, 4th and 3, manageable 4th down. So I would think that he would go for it here. Big play coming up.
Yeah, special teams have played a role here. Kentucky's missed 2 extra points and an Ole Miss punt down to the 1-yard line resulted in a safety. So that's basically your margin right now. How about?
And also, Charlie, the kickoff return just now.
Yes.
His own guy trips him. He's gone.
That's right.
The Kentucky return man, he's gone. His own guy tripped him.
If not for Kentucky special teams screw-ups, then the Wildcats would have the lead. Jimmy, what about what's going on in Fort Worth? TCU leads Oklahoma 41-17. They just come out of the locker room for the second half. And as shocking as 41 points on Oklahoma is in the first half, this is all offense. There's no defensive scores. There's no special team scored. TCU piled up 479 yards worth of offense on a Brent Venables defense. That, to me, is as shocking as anything we've seen so far.
41 points and 480 yards, no doubt. And I mean, just guys flying open. I like this. I like this TCU team. It was one of my 5-pack yesterday, and Oklahoma and Texas. I'm going to go against them, and because they play each other next week in Dallas. So, Dylan Gabriel knocked out of this game a young man by the name of General Booty warming up for the Oklahoma Sooners. Yeah, so we know about that. As the fourth down attempt for Kentucky is an incompletion until they'll get the ball right here. Ole Miss gets the ball with the lead now.
All right, let's talk about some of the games that you like coming up in the 2:30 window about an hour from now.
I was impressed with Maryland. We know that Little Tua had some receivers, three really good receivers, but it was supposed to be sort of a lot of shootouts. They pushed. They got a little bit of push with the running game, the interior running game against Michigan. Michigan State is awful. I mean, flat out awful. -7.5 at home. I really like the Terrapins in that spot. They had Baylor against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's got that ranking. What have they done this year to earn that ranking? So that is based off of last year's team and their accomplishments, winning a New Year's Six Bowl, whatever you want to call it. But they lost 9 of 11 starters on defense. They lost Jim Knowles, defensive coordinator, to Ohio State. And they're just not the defense that they were. It's more of a typical Mike Gundy team. The quarterback, Sanders, is inconsistent. But Dave Aranda is a line of scrimmage team, man. And I think they're going to really have a nice day at home in Waco against Oklahoma State. And then one that we're all on, Charlie, a couple of Arkansas plus the 17.5 at Alabama. They should have won. I mean, they find ways to lose that game. It seems like almost every year between them and A&M. So tons of points on the road there. And we'll see. I think Arkansas's got a real shot to kind of compete and maybe be in the game. And then a rough spot for A&M. The emotional game last week against Arkansas. They should have lost. They've got Bama next week. And so all that being said, it's a little sneaky spot where I think I love the spot for State. And I hate to add to your misery yesterday, Charlie, but I mean, if it was in a college venue, that field goal clears the upright. But because the uprights are taller at NFL venues, that causes just enough to hit the bar and bounce back.
And that never occurred to me until you said it. It feels like I lost the game all over again.
That's brutal. Goodness, Otter. All right, Jimmy, one more in the 2:30 window that I wondered if you have a thought on. Wake Forest going to Tallahassee. Wake Forest coming off that physical, emotional game against Clemson where they almost had it. Florida State 4-0. Do they get to 5? A 6-point line here?
Yeah, I like Florida State in this spot. Wake Forest is a big-time public dog. Like 90% of the tickets at Bet Rivers are on the Demon Deacons taking the points. And that was just not a good performance last week by Clemson. You got some backups in the secondary. They would not turn their heads to try and make a play on the ball. And, Sam Hartman's going to take advantage of that. He's really good. He's real accurate. But I like Florida State here, minus the points, because they've had their scares. They escaped in the Superdome. They escaped on a Friday night at Louisville. But I'm not buying in that Wake Forest all of a sudden is real good. Hartman is, but I like Florida State minus the points.
Not a ton of great matchups in the nighttime window, Jimmy, but one of them in the top 10. NC State goes to Clemson. NC State won this game last year at home. Clemson a touchdown favorite in this battle of unbeatens.
Tip your hat to DJU. A lot of people didn't know if he could, get in a shootout and win it and throw the ball effectively enough to kind of go blow for blow against Sam Hartman and Wake Forest. That's not a given, though, now. It's not just – he's not expecting his TCU with another long touchdown, Charlie, from about 70 yards, 48-17. But I'll go with more of the sample size where he has struggled a little bit throwing the ball. So I like NC State. They've kind of been having an eye peeking at this one for quite some time. I really like them going into Clemson and playing them very, very tough. I think it's a toss-up game.
And you like LSU tonight in what is normally a very close and physical series. The Tigers are a big favorite for this series at Jordan Hare tonight.
Yeah, lame duck coaches. A lot of people like to fade them and bet against them, and certainly Harsin fits the fills in that category. But just this Auburn offense is just awful to watch. Teams are easily taking Tank Bigsby out of the game with keying on him, and no matter who starts, Finley has not looked good. The backups don't look good. Man, did you ever think that a team would miss Bo Nix? But it kind of seems that way. I like LSU in this spot. It's a historically high number on the road in this series where the home team has had a real advantage. And we know all about all the storylines and things like that. But it's not as much of a backing on LSU as it is a fade against Auburn.
All right, Jimmy, who's bringing us Otter Locks?
Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we're in the business of matching hard workers with some of the most sought-after employers in the Baton Rouge area. At Lofton, you are more than just another employee. We care about your interests, and we can help match you with the company that needs your skills. You can complete an application, schedule an interview, even browse jobs right from the comfort of your couch by simply going to lofton.jobs. That's lofton.jobs. At Lofton, we put people to work.
All right, tomorrow morning you're going to work at 10 o'clock for Football Sunday. You're going to get a little Saints companion show action tomorrow as the Saints kick off at 8:30.
Yes, indeed. I'm very proud of the 7 contributing handicappers, 31-10 on the year. Mike from Blackman, do the math. That's over 75%.
Very good, Jimmy. Have a good show. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Chuck.
All right, Ole Miss with a 3-point lead, looking at 4th and goal from about, what are we looking at, Musso, about the 4, maybe the 5?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
And they're going to go for it here, holding a 22-19 lead with 10:40, the clock moving in regulation. Full scoreboard when we come back here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Eagle 98.1.
Farm Credit College Football Scoreboard. First South Farm Credit. Financing farms and land since 1916.
We start in Oxford, Mississippi, where Ole Miss is holding a 3-point lead, 22-19 over Kentucky, with 8.5 minutes to go in regulation. Ole Miss's attempt on fourth down was batted from the 5-yard line, was batted down in the end zone. Kentucky has punched it out past the 20, but they're looking at 3rd down and 10 now. Special teams have played a big role in this. Kentucky has missed 2 extra points. A punt by Ole Miss down to the 1-yard line resulted in a safety after an intentional grounding, and a long kickoff return that could have been for a touchdown had Kentucky's their own man ran into the returner. So 3-point game, 8.5 minutes to go. Number 4, Michigan leads Iowa 20-7, but the Hawkeyes with a late rally here, a little under 9 minutes to go in the game, and they are inside the Michigan 20. How about TCU? They lead Oklahoma 48-17. About halfway through the 3rd quarter. This is all offense. No defensive touchdowns, no special teams touchdowns. TCU ran up 479 yards of total offense in the first half, and I'm guessing that number is well over 500 now, Musso.
Yeah, for sure. Max Duggan has been awesome, the quarterback for TCU. 283 through the air, 79 on the ground, Hanny. 4 total touchdowns.
Minnesota and Purdue are tied at 10. That is early in the 4th quarter. Minnesota with a drive at the Purdue 20. Number 25, Kansas State leads Texas Tech 27-20. That game is also early in the 4th quarter. Georgia State leads Army 24-14. That game has about 3 minutes remaining. Illinois leads Wisconsin 34-10. That is early in the 4th quarter. At the end of 3, Louisville leads Boston College 33-28. Early in the 4th quarter, Navy and Air Force are tied at 10. Memphis, this game has just gone final, I believe, has beaten Temple 10-3. James Madison leading Texas State 12-0. That is in the 2nd quarter. And at the end of 1, number 12, Utah leads Oregon State 14-7. Games just getting underway the 2nd quarter. UMass leads Eastern Michigan 7-0, and Northern Illinois leads Ball State 14-0. And a game that is just kicked off about 3 minutes in, East Carolina on early touchdown. They lead South Florida 7-0. In the 2:30 window, number 2 Alabama is at number 20 Arkansas. Lots been made of Alabama's struggles on the road. They've only covered 1 of their last 5 on the road. They're a 17-point choice today in Fayetteville. Number 3, Ohio State takes on Rutgers. Number 9, Oklahoma State at number 16, Baylor. Northwestern at number 11, Penn State. Number 22, Wake Forest at number 23, Florida State. You asked Jimmy about that game. What do you think?
I like Florida State, too. Wake Forest, they still can't really stop anybody. And Harmon, it's not the same offense it was last year. He's still very good. Not the same offense, though.
Kansas trying to get to 5-0. They host Iowa State. Fresno State is at UConn. Michigan State is at 3-1. Maryland, Virginia Tech is at North Carolina. Central Michigan at Toledo. Bowling Green at Akron. Ohio at Kent State. 3 o'clock kickoff on the SEC Network. Number 17, Texas A&M is at Mississippi State. This is the mother of all sandwich spots, coming off that game against Arkansas in Dallas last week in Arlington. And next week they go to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about a look ahead, and it's not a spot you can really look ahead. A&M's had their problems in the secondary, too, and Mississippi State, we know they can throw it.
4 o'clock kickoff for South Alabama at UL Lafayette at Cajun Field. 4:30 kickoff for Cal and Washington State. 5 o'clock kickoff for UTEP in Charlotte. 6 o'clock kickoffs include Cincinnati at Tulsa, Georgia Southern at Coastal Carolina, UL Monroe at Arkansas State, Troy at Western Kentucky. 6:30 kickoff in Columbia, Missouri. Number 1 Georgia visits the Tigers. 6:30 kickoff at Clemson. Number 10 NC State. That top 10 matchup. 6:30 kickoff for West Virginia and Texas. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I thought Texas was ranked. Oh,
got him.
Too soon.
Got him.
Indiana is at Nebraska. Virginia is at Duke. San Jose State's at Wyoming. Georgia Tech is at number 24 Pitt. That is a 7 o'clock kickoff. And the late games involve some pretty bad teams. 8:30 kickoff for Colorado, maybe the worst Power 5 team in the country. They're at Arizona, who's also not very good. Yep. Arizona State, who is minus a coach at 9:30, is at number 6 USC. That one could get ugly. USC was frustrated last week up in Corvallis, did not do a whole lot offensively, may take their frustrations out tonight against a wounded Arizona State team for sure. And the late kick is Stanford at number 13 Oregon, and that is your college football scoreboard.
Take this moment to tell you about Running Board's marketing. They can help your business stand out. Giant LED mobile billboard trucks. Eye-catching ad, that's an understatement. I saw one driving around the city yesterday. You really can't miss it. Check them out, runningboardsmarketing.com.
And we'll take a break when we come back. Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl with a scouting report on Auburn. We are at Rouse's. Download the mobile app for curbside delivery here at Rouse's, Burbank at Lee. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Eagle 98.1.
Brandon Holly here. Siding, windows, even doors. ReliefWindows.com.
Eagle 98.1. WDGL and HD1 Baton Rouge.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day Scouting Report.
Presented by Demco. Demco. Powering lives. Brightening the future.
Back here live, Eagle 98.1 Game Day. We're at Rouse's on Burbank and Lee. LSU and Auburn tonight from the Plains, 6 p.m. Kicks off 6 straight weeks of SEC play for LSU. Right now, we head over to the opposing sideline, get a scouting report on those Auburn Tigers. We welcome in the executive director of the Senior Bowl, Jim Nagy. Jim, we appreciate the time for another week. How are you?
I'm good, Matt. Good to be back on.
Absolutely. So when looking at Auburn, I know we have a few guys on the defensive side of the ball that we want to focus on. And quite honestly, I mean, it's got to start with Derek Hall off the edge. This is just a big physical presence there. And someone LSU fans should be pretty familiar with. He made his presence felt in Death Valley last year, a career-high 8 tackles and 1.5 sacks against LSU en route to that Auburn win. How do they limit him this season?
Yeah, we're certainly not starting on the offensive side of the ball with Auburn, are we? I think Derek Hall is a good place to start. Yeah, he's was our player of the week, Senior Bowl player of the week for this past week in the Missouri game. Had a couple sacks in that game, but he's a Mississippi Gulf Coast guy, so he's located right between us here in Mobile and you guys over there in Louisiana. But really a heavy-handed edge player, really physical at the point of attack. And what he has enough speed to chase things down to the perimeter when runs kind of bounce outside on him. So he's not just a point of attack player. And then as a pass rusher, his game is all power. There's not a lot of wiggle, so those tackles at LSU better brace for that tonight because he'll come right at you and he'll come right through you.
And then, I mean, opposite him, you have Iku Leota, who as well made his presence felt against LSU last year, forcing a fumble and had a sack in that game. We've talked a lot about tandems this year so far in this segment, and here's another great one from Auburn.
Yeah, Iku's different. They're stylistically very different. He's more of a finesse rusher. He's a looser athlete than Derek Hall is. When you see him drop in space, is a projected 3-4 outside linebacker at the next level. He is a guy that could drop into coverage where with Derek, he probably wouldn't want to be doing that a whole lot. But so he's going to give those tackles at LSU something different to prepare for. He does give you more wiggle. He's got more upfield speed. He can turn the corner a little better on you. But again, another good all-around football player, and he does play the run well for a guy that, you describe a lot of guys as finesse players. You don't really think they hold up well versus a run. So he's more of a finesse rusher, but at the point of attack, he's another guy that uses his hands really well. He can set a hard edge. So between those two guys, LSU is going to have a hard time running outside the net. I think they'll be doing most of their work between the tackles.
When you have two guys who are maybe playing opposite each other like that, but are different players, I mean, what kind of versatility does that bring to a defense?
Yeah, it really makes it hard for the guys trying to block them, right? Because you really got to, like those pass sets, you really got to vary things up. You got to know what's coming, right? So it is a challenge, and those guys can move around, and they do flip them. It's not like one will line up on the one side the entire time. They give Derek Hall a lot of flexibility. You'll see him standing up in the A gap some tonight. They'll rush him from inside because he is so strong. But yeah, certainly a difficult duo to prepare for. In terms of the SEC, probably in terms of edge tandems, they may be the most difficult to prepare for outside of Alabama.
And then you move to the backer position there, and you find Owen Papo. And this is interesting, right, because he's a guy you always hear a lot about. Didn't get to see much of him last year, only playing, I believe it was in 5 games for Auburn. He missed the LSU game, but certainly a player you circle there at the next level for Auburn.
Yeah, he's a former 5-star guy, Owen Papo, and we've kind of been waiting, to see that kind of talent come out over the years. And one thing we do know, he can really run. When this guy wants to go, he can really go. So we talked about being difficult to run wide on this Auburn football team. One, it's because of the guys playing on the edge. 2, it's because of Papo. And the one thing we have noticed so far in this early season, and we've had scouts at 3 Auburn games so far already this year, is he's playing harder. I think he sees that this is a contract year. He needs to go out and let it rip, and he's doing that. And he's making more plays in the box as well. He's always been a guy that can run things down on the perimeter, but you're seeing more plays between the tackles, those inside runs. He's fitting those better, and just being a more productive player against that inside run game.
Talking with Jim Nagy, Executive Director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. Follow him on Twitter at JimNagy_SB. Jim, with Papo, is it kind of just one spot for him, or are they going to move him around the defense as well?
He usually plays stacked. No, they'll see him at one spot. I mean, he's usually off the ball stacked between the tackles. You don't see him expanded out very much. They've got some younger guys that play kind of the hybrid nickel spot, some bigger guys in that role. But Papa will usually stay. They'll know where he is. He usually stays at that will linebacker spot inside.
Jim, I guess one more really kind of a bit of a maybe bigger picture. I mean, we focused in on Hall, on Leota, on Papo. Is there another player maybe kind of off the radar a little bit for Auburn that y'all might be keeping an eye on, just waiting for maybe a little bit more of a breakout?
Yeah, I would say Nehemiah Pritchett, the corner, is a guy to keep an eye on. Nehemiah's a guy, he's kind of in our backyard here, Jackson, Alabama, which is about 45 minutes here from Mobile. 6-foot corner, can really run. There was a breakout run in the Penn State game that I was at. They had their freshman running back for Penn State ripped off like a 78-yard touchdown or something like that. And Pritchett running from the backside to catch him, you could see how fast this guy is. They think he's going to be a 4.3 guy next spring when he tests for the NFL scouts. So he's got the size, he's got the speed, he's a willing tackler, he's physical. You just want to see the instincts come along and him making more plays on the ball. So, like, for NFL scouts, he's a little bit of a wait-and-see guy. I think he can really help himself if he starts making plays here, the middle part, the tail part of the season. But from a height, weight, speed perspective, there's not going to be too many better in this NFL draft. And if he makes more plays and gets his hands on the ball more, he's definitely a guy that could get drafted.
Jim Nagy, Executive Director of the Reese's Senior Bowl, giving us a look at the Auburn defense, the unit that will try to slow down a suddenly pretty hot LSU offense led by Jaden Daniels tonight on the Plains. Jim, we appreciate the time as always. Thank you, and we look forward to doing it again next week.
Yeah, let's enjoy tonight.
Absolutely. That is Jim Nagy of the Reese's Senior Bowl. Y'all go ahead again. Follow him on Twitter at JimNagy_SB. Follow the Senior Bowl at Senior Bowl on Twitter. They do a great job profiling players. You heard him mention Derek Hall there as the guy they profiled on their social media. They scout the sport. They cover the sport just about better than anyone out there. Reese's Senior Bowl. Jim Nagy with us every week here. Continue to count you down. LSU and Auburn tonight from the Plains, a 6 p.m. start. Stay here. We'll be back from Rouse's on Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Recruiting
with Shay Dixon from On3 Sports. Presented by Shell. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana.
And we're back here at Rouse's. Download the app and get curbside delivery for your groceries, and it's a great thing for tailgating. You know, next week it's going to be – actually, we'll be here for post-game next week at Rouse's because pregame is going to get going very, very early. And we bring in Shay Dixon from On3 to talk about recruiting. Let's talk about that start next week, Shay. First of all, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Charlie. You just let me know when in this segment I get to age you again.
Thanks a lot.
Because I've got it teed up this week. I'm ready for it.
Okay, good. Not the least of which, to LSU's consternation about having to play this 11 o'clock game next week, is what it does to the recruiting weekend, because I know they had a lot of big plans. Just what kind of monkey wrench does the early start throw into that?
Well, a massive one. I mean, think of this. They had lined up kids from really all over the country to come in for that game, thinking, hey, look, this was the game, you know, that only is on a rotation, doesn't happen, you know, once in a blue moon, it feels like. And Tennessee's good this year. So bring everybody in for that. That's the first big kind of marquee game. Well, when it gets moved to 11 a.m., here's what happens, Charlie. Everyone plays Friday night, all these kids. So they get done, 10, 11 at night. They're not going on hopping on a plane after that, you know, whatever. So they go home, they shower, get up the next morning, and they're ready to go. 5, 6, 7 a.m., they're getting in their car, they're driving. They're usually making it to campus around lunch, a little after, and then they can be there for a 2:30 or be there all afternoon for a 6 or 7 o'clock kick. And an example, Julian Sayin a week ago, who came in from California for the New Mexico game, played Friday night, got on a flight at 7 a.m. out of California or whenever it was on Saturday morning, made it to New Orleans and got the rental car by noon, drives over, and he's able to spend a few hours with the staff before the game and see pregame and see the Tiger Walk and all those things before a 7 o'clock kick. 11 a.m., you're not getting anybody there. You know who's going? Everyone that lives in Louisiana, and then kids from kind of surrounding states that, hey, are you willing to get up and drive, you know, before the sun rises to get over here to beat the traffic, to get on campus, to get to the sideline, to hang out and experience, you know, the game as a recruit before it kicks off at 11 in the morning. So it burns them in a big way. And I know a lot of, after the SEC announced it, Charlie was scrambling to say, okay, who can still come? If not, how do we reschedule them for Ole Miss or Bama or whatever the next marquee game might be that they can get into, just because for a while now they had a lot of guys on the books, and it was their presumption, and I thought the same. This game's going to be probably at night, maybe at 2:30, but certainly not at breakfast.
All right, let me, you know me, Captain Sunshine here. Let me see if I can spin some positive into this at all. For the ones that actually get here, and I don't know how many uncommitted players are going to get here on an official visit next week. They would have to be close, but does this not – the game will be over by, 2:30, 3 o'clock. That gives the staff the rest of the night, a lot longer after the game they would normally have. Anything to that, or is that too Pollyanna?
I'm proud of you, Charlie. When you're looking at the bright side of LSU football and recruiting, that is exactly the opposite end of this, right? Well, at least whomever you do get in, and if you can still get in some big names, you're going to have more time with them than you would have had after any other game you play this season. So that is absolutely correct, and we'll see how that pays off for them. And then if kids stay till Sunday too, you've had almost 2 full days with them. But the initial reaction certainly was, well, all shucks. We certainly didn't see that one coming, and let's see who we can still convince to come in for 11 a.m.
Shay, what was the feedback maybe from the visits last week, especially with somebody like a Julian Sayin who was on campus?
I mean, yeah, it was a very positive feedback. I mean, this is a 2024 quarterback. They've got their 23 quarterback LSU in Ricky Collins here in Baton Rouge at Woodlawn. So now the focus is on 2024, and Julian Sayins, the number 2 quarterback on the On3 consensus, kind of got offers from the who's who. Everybody out there has been at least recruiting him, courting him. But now he's getting close to a decision. It's October 1st, so we're in his decision month. At least he said he wanted to do something at some point in October. I would say that Georgia is a competition here. Bama is a team he says he wants to go visit. But I think right now Georgia's in a spot where they've got a few quarterbacks, right, that they're looking at and have coming to campus in October and have coming to campus in November, to where they say, hey, look, we're kind of still recruiting now. Could he still pop for the Bulldogs? Maybe. But I think it's becoming crystal clear that he sees LSU as a spot that, hey, look, they prioritize me. I can get on board now, and I have LSU out front. So it would be a huge commitment for him. They're not all in on him. They had DJ Lagway, who's got an offer from Jay Johnson and Brian Kelly on campus this past weekend with Sayin, and he's a big-time prospect. So I really think that they've kind of spread their wings here a bit, much like they did in this prior class, where you went national, you went local, you recruited everyone. You're going to come away with somebody, but right now it appears to be that they're trending for a kid who, consensus, number 2 quarterback out there.
All right, Shay, every now and then I like to just kind of update the board. So make believe like there was a genie that came out of the lamp this morning and said, okay, LSU can have any 3 guys on their board. Give me the top 3 uncommitted guys on their board right now.
Oh, man. Okay, well, I think we're playing a realistic game here a little bit. Jovian Toviano is a kid that they've had on campus multiple times. He is a top 5 defensive back in the country right now. They don't have someone that highly ranked in the DB commitment group at the moment. Not that that means everything, but this kid's kind of a real deal talent coming out of Texas. So I would have him very high on that list. I think they need another O-lineman, and I think DJ Chester's a kid who's trended to him, who coming out of Georgia is a top 150 player. Clemson just offered him this week. All the big schools have offered him, but he's kind of maintained that he really likes LSU. He was already at a game this year, so he'd be on my list. And are we doing are we doing flips here? Is this how unrealistic are we getting from my final answer?
It's your list, Shay. Give me somebody that's at least somewhat realistic. I mean, I'm not asking you to say, hey, if they could have anybody, they'd go get Arch Manning or something like that. I mean, yeah, it does have to have some kind of realism to it.
Okay, so I'm not allowed to answer Arch Manning. I would say that it would be, and this is a recruitment they've worked on all along, but it would be a big coup if they somehow, and I'm not saying it's happening, but could flip Derek Williams from Texas, who's coming out of Westgate, which we always thought New Iberia was LSU territory, and last year Bama snags one, and now one's going to Texas, who he's a top 3 safety in the country and a legitimate football player. I mean, he'll borderline 5-star, may end up a 5-star. So I'd say that's one. And LSU fans love this Nicholas Harbor kind of feel. He's the kid, Charlie, plays D-line. He plays tight end. He's 6'4.5", 245. And he broke the state record in the 100 and the 50 and the 200 and just absolute freak show. So he's supposed to visit at some point. I think it'll be in November or December. But you're battling everyone and their mom for him because he is about as good as it gets in this class.
Shay, I realize this is not the school you cover, but I do want to ask you about Auburn since LSU is playing them. Not only is the on-the-field product suffering, but the recruiting is, I think, 13th is what I saw out of 14 teams in the SEC. So just how damaging is this unending saga with Brian Harsin just crushing Auburn's recruiting?
I mean, it's a reason that the unending saga that is Auburn right now is the reason their team's not very good, right? Like, they have struggled in recruiting in recent years for a myriad of reasons, now being that Harsin doesn't seem to be a good fit at all and they're not playing well and all that. But you look at I can look up and down their roster. there's some guys, but they're not talented like a normal Auburn team should be talented. Like when they were rolling out 4 first-round D linemen and, you know, a good, really great elite couple of running backs or whatever it might be. And I love Team Bigsby, but I think it's been ongoing. They're just not – they are not a good football program. Charlie, we talked about this before the year. I said it on the show. This was going to be LSU's easiest SEC opponent, and that was before I saw how bad that they actually looked on the field. So I don't know, man. That's a week-to-week thing for me. I would not be surprised if this was the end of it. And they've got like 10 commits. You know, guys, if you have a coaching change, that's going to shake that up even more, and you don't have much of an expectation that you're coming away with some top 10 or 15 class here. So I don't know. It is stale on the plains, and the fans know it.
Yeah, let me ask you what it did to go back a year ago, because we're almost to the 1-year anniversary where Orgeron was fired. I think it was a week or two after where we are now. What was LSU's recruiting like the back half of last season, if you can go back? How much damage did it do to have him fired in the middle of the season, or was it a relief just knowing?
I mean, I think it throws a wrench in it no matter what, right? Obviously. But I do think, because I've talked to parents, I talked to kids. We heard O say it, but I heard it from them that when Orgeron stayed on and coached the rest of those games, he was telling all the committed guys and kind of their top guys, hey, you go to LSU. I was telling you to come here for a reason. Go to LSU. And even when the new staff comes in, any kids were kind. I talked to one parent, said, yep, we talked to Coach O after that. He said, Brian Kelly's won a lot of games. Stay there. Don't change. We sold it on it for a reason. You want to be in Louisiana. So I think that helped because they actually already had a pretty good class, but they closed. I mean, you got Will Campbell and Howard to stick. You got Perkins in February signing day. You got Quincy Wiggins on the early signing period. So held on to Emory Jones. I think it could have hurt a lot more had they not had at least a foundation of guys that were committed and then remained committed. And then you can just kind of go out there and, you know, put a ribbon on a smaller high school class with Harold Perkins, which is great. But we knew all along that the reality was they were about to turn around and take more transfers than they did high school kids, and that's exactly what they did. So it, I don't know, it's kind of a split. I'm almost wondering now if that's Auburn might be in a similar spot here, Charlie, where they might sign 10 or 12 kids and have to just load up on kids from the portal.
Yeah, well, here's the difference to me. Because if Harzan is fired, I certainly don't expect him to stay on the rest of the season the way Orgeron did. No. That's the first thing. The second thing is that Orgeron last year could tell them with a straight face, hey, listen, I won a national championship here 2 years ago. This is not ancient history. This is a good program. And we also knew that Orgeron was not likely to move to another program the very next year. It's almost impossible for me to see Brian Harzan from 1 minute after he is fired doing anything for Auburn. I mean, not to be, snide or anything, but I sure wouldn't. The way that they have handled this situation, I'd be like, as soon as the ink is dry on the pink slip, I got Auburn, Alabama in my rearview mirror. So I think this is worse than what LSU went through a year ago.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. And for the main reason is, as you said, the success LSU was already having. Auburn hasn't tasted that recently at all. That's why they're in a downward spiral. Oh, it's bad over there, Charlie. I've talked to a lot of people on the ground who just said we're back to where we started, where everyone's ready to run the coach out of town.
Yeah. Well, that is what they do at Auburn quite frequently. Shay, what's coming up after the game on 3?
Oh, man, we'll catch up with some of the recruits who are there and get a feel. Hey, look, if they win, I think that they're going to have a lot of recruits kind of really keeping an eye on things. They actually do have a nice visitor list at Auburn today, just with some notable kids from around the Southeast. So it'd be nice for LSU to get a win. But, hey, wait, before I go, obviously it's an away game, so there's no big visitor list. Do I get to make you feel old? Do I have time for that?
Yes, absolutely. Shay will make time for you to make me feel old. Go right ahead.
Okay, well, I was thinking back on what my favorite, and y'all probably told this already, Auburn LSU memory, not favorite, what stuck with me over time. And for some reason, it's 2006. I was in college, so that's what should make you feel old. Mm-hmm. But at Auburn, with all my buddies, they scored 3 points. But the early Doucette flag, not flag, grabbed him before it got tipped. I don't know why out of buildings on fire, bird catching with no time left, everything that it's that one that sticks with me for some reason.
I'll tell you why it sticks, because there's still an assault charge out for the DB that, basically tackled early Doucette. They picked the flag up. The other reason is if you win that game, you are going to play for the national championship. That one really sticks. Look, the interception game, the cigar game, the Courtney Taylor game in 2004, where they call leverage on Ronnie Prude for. I think they call that penalty twice the entire college football season, and they called it that day. It ended up being the difference in the ball game. But 2006 really, really hurt because not only they missed a call on Doucette, they missed a call on a fourth down pass to Hester, which he absolutely caught, and he told me he caught it. But I saw him catch it, but I also believed that he had caught it even before he told me that. So, yeah, Shay, in the annals of painful losses to Auburn, that one for me probably tops the list. So you got me all worked up, man. That post game was one for the books because we were livid that day. So thanks for that stroll down memory lane, Shay. I appreciate that.
See, I just wanted. It didn't make you feel old. It just made you feel mad.
No, it just made me mad. You want to make me feel old? Go back to '92 when Jamie Howard made his debut. LSU comes from down 27 to 7 to take a 28-27 lead, and then Auburn got the ball back, kicked the field goal at the gun to win it. And Curly Hallman lost his mind in a post-game press conference. I remember that one too. See, this is fun. This is all kind of stuff.
Nostalgia, Hanny, it plays.
All right, Shay, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. I'll see you all next week.
Kentucky had what looked like a touchdown, but I think they ruled him out of bounds. And then the next play, or two plays later, Kentucky turns the ball over. So Ole Miss hangs on to win 22-19.
Kentucky beat themselves all day in that game.
The special teams mix-ups, the 2 extra points,
2 turnovers.
The 2 turnovers. And then I'm going to call this special teams. This was really more good execution on Ole Miss's part than poor on Kentucky's part. The punt that goes down to the 1 yard that results in the safety was also another big special teams play in the game.
Ole Miss, Hanny, likely to be undefeated coming into Baton Rouge now after getting past that.
Yeah, they'll be favorites in the next 2 games. They could very easily get here 7-0, and depending on how things shake out today, they could be a top 10 team this week.
They could.
They could be. We'll take a break. Talking Tigers is next from Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Talkin' Tigers.
Presented by Louisiana Land Bank. Louisiana Land Bank. They're experts in rural land and equipment lending.
Talkin' Tigers.
Safety Joe Fouché.
That feels great, man. The 4 weeks I was out, I was still preparing every day like a game. And now that I finally got the opportunity, to practice, prepare, and now that I get to play Saturday, I'm just ready to go.
Wide receiver Jeray Jenkins.
The mindset don't change at all just because it's SEC or non-conference. We're attacking every game the same no matter who we play. And so, we know we're starting into SEC. We know it's going to get real. So, we know what we got to do just like we do every week or whatever, and we ready for it.
Linebacker Micah Baskerville.
I love those type of environments for me, when everybody's against you and everything. I feel like it shows what type of character you have. And, I want them to know that this LSU defense is going to be physical and violent and come to win.
Running back Noah Kane.
Yeah, we're getting close, man. From camp until now, we're starting to mesh as a group. Everybody's getting on the same page as far as chemistry, as far as being on the same accord mentally. Guys are just filling each other out more and more. The offense, the O-line is starting to connect more, man. So I think we're starting to gel at the right time.
Safety Joe Fouché.
He's a great quarterback. He's sitting in the pockets. He can scramble. So just the game plan we're going to have for him, it's a nice game plan. We respect his game. He can throw the ball, he can run it, he can pass, he can do it all. So, just being able to prepare for him this weekend is going to, help us out.
Wide receiver Jeray Jenkins.
There's always work that we need to do. There's always room for improvement. If we're not satisfied just because we won 3 games, as a team, we know what we got to do to continue that. And we just got to be more consistent on offense, defense, and special teams. So I feel like we do that, we're going to be just where we are. But like I said, we got more work to be done.
Linebacker Micah Baskerville.
They got some good athletes, man. They got some good running backs. Tank, number 4, 27, they're good. The quarterback's good. So, we just got to play our best game.
Running back Noah Kane.
Yeah, I definitely heard about the environment. Got a few guys that I know pretty well on the Auburn team. So it's a hostile environment. It's nothing less to say than that. It's going to be a great game, great atmosphere. I think it's a rivalry for LSU. In the past years, it's always a close game. So we expect a hostile environment. We had live music at practice today, so we're prepared for it. We're ready, for anything that they bring at us. So it's going to be an exciting atmosphere, though.
Safety Joe Fouché.
He's a very smart guy. He knows his defense and he moves guys around. He put guys in the perfect positions, and he's just like a guru. He's a defensive guru. Every day we learn something new, and we go out there and execute it. And he just want to add more. And I feel like when you got a DC like that, you love to be around him because he find ways to get his guys around the ball.
Wide receiver Jeray Jenkins.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. Jack is a hard worker. He come in every week, every day, with that right attitude, ready to work and ready to get better. So I knew that it was gonna come. He knew it was. So it was just a matter of fact that when he was gonna really do what he had to do, and he was on punt return. I watched him all week at practice, and I told him you're gonna get you one that game if you do what you gotta do, and he did, and y'all seen him.
Linebacker Micah Baskerville.
Him, that's my guy, young linebacker, man. We talk a lot, play video games, and him just out there doing what he do, what he got here, his speed, physical, being violent. He's doing the same thing. So that's how he's able to, show himself off so early in his career.
Running back Noah Kane.
Will and Emery, they're very mature. Something that I've noticed, from coming in, two of the best, guys I've been around as far as O-linemen up front. Just that preparation, man, they're very mature for their age. Like just being just out of high school, coming into the SEC, just the way their outlook on things, the way they work, man, they be locked in. Those guys work hard, very coachable. They're not really worried about what they did in high school, not worried about people saying about them. They just ready to get better every day. They take coaching very well. And I think when you can take coaching very well at a young age like that, it's just gonna help you make faster progress than others because you're able just to understand what the coaches are asking of you, make adjustments. So those guys have been great for us. They got a very bright future for them. So definitely, I'm just excited. They blocking for me, man. They make this team better.
Safety Joe Fouché.
He's a great running back. He run downhill, he run hard. He can cut back. He can do it all. So just focusing on him. It's gonna be like another game. He's a great running back, but we're just gonna do our job. Lock in on our job, and that's gonna slow him down.
Talking Tigers, Eagle 98.1, Game Day.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Shop, shop. Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop a style.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
After further review on Game Day, presented by the Grove Recovery Center. The Grove Recovery Center. Recovery designed for you. After further review is heard weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from AFR, here's Matt Moscona.
Now we return here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery here at Rouse's. All your tailgating stuff. You got get some stuff for the game tonight. Remember, here at Rouse's, they never, ever run out of ice. Scone, good afternoon. How are you?
Gentlemen, doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I want to ask you about something that was on your show yesterday. You have Phil Steele every week, and very good segment, by the way. He reminded me of the game in 2012 that had a 20.5-point spread. Frankly, I had forgotten that it was that big. Gene Chizik was on his way out. That was a very good LSU team, and that game was awful. It was a 12-10 LSU win. So with that in mind, that LSU team was better than this LSU team is. That Auburn team was worse, I think, than this Auburn team. So does it give you any pause coming in today, or is it just a nice historical note?
It absolutely gives me pause. It's why today's game terrifies me. Hanny, I mean, look, I love the LSU Auburn series. It's my favorite series that LSU plays. And I just have never seen it's never easy in that venue. The last time LSU won at Auburn by double digits was 1998. It was a 31-19 game, and LSU wasn't, you know how that season finished, but that was it for Terry Bowden that year. And look, maybe, you know, the common theme here is that was it for Terry Bowden. 2012, Chizik was on his way out. It's likely Harson's done here, but Auburn has started fast. And LSU has started slow, and the best way to keep a team that's down, keep their spirits in it, is let them start fast and let them have belief. And that's what worries me about this game. But, yeah, 2012. Hanny, do you remember 2012 was a game where Les went in the post game and said, well, shoot, we'll just punt it again. With that defense, you kidding me? Just punt it again. He said, punt it again 5 times. He was just completely content to play defense and escape and punt, and that's what they did that day.
Not only do I remember that, I watched several more years of Les being very content to play defense and punt. So, yes, it was a common theme. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you like this series. So do I. I mean, there's been so many great games over the years. But Auburn has an identity. Almost every one of their teams is able to run the football, and they're pretty stout against the run. This team is not. Give me your best reasons as to why.
Why they can't run the football?
Yeah.
Their offensive line isn't any good. When you have two backs like Jarquez Hunter and Tank Bigsby, you should be able to run the football. And if you throw Robbie Ashford, who's an athletic quarterback, they should be able to make more plays on the ground. They haven't. And it's going to get tougher today. I know so Nick Brahms was their starting center. I don't know if you guys have talked about this, but
yeah.
You know, he was a fifth-year player. He got injured before the bowl game. He was coming back for a sixth year this year, and right before the season, he just decided to retire from football. So that put Tate Johnson in the starting lineup at center, and he got hurt last week, and he's done for likely the year. So they're moving Brandon Council, their right tackle. I mean, their most veteran lineman. They're moving him to center. But, Mike D has shared this stat forever.
Oh, yeah.
It was the old buddy Delaberta thing about the starting center. It's a team that loses its starting center, they fail to cover more than 80% of the times the week they lose their starting center. So Auburn's offensive line already wasn't good, and now you lose your starting center. And now you've affected not only center but also right tackle. I just think that bodes very well for LSU's defensive front seven today.
Matt, what happened? Because earlier in the week they had said that it was going to be Jalil Irvin, who started the bowl game last year, that was going to be at center. Did you get a reason for the change?
No reason, but so Irvin, when he started the bowl game, that was his first career start.
Yeah.
So it wasn't sort of a natural thing. Maybe it might almost be like when LSU put Dellinger in at center against Florida State. It didn't necessarily mean he was a center. It was kind of a thing out of necessity. But about midweek, Zach Blackerby, who does a really good job covering Auburn, broke that news that he had gotten word that Council was going to move from right tackle to center, and I think it's just they want their more veteran guy there, running the other half of the battery.
Robbie Ashford, give me your thoughts on how the offense is different with him as opposed to T.J. Finley.
Well, he's supposed to be able to run better than Finley. But the big thing is Finley's supposed to be able to throw the ball, but Hanny, their receivers stink. That's the most surprising thing to me, Auburn's inability to throw the ball. I mean, Coy Moore, I know he made some comments this week, but Coy Moore last year was probably the fifth or sixth best receiver on LSU's team. And that's not a slight to Coy Moore. It's just a realization of the talent LSU has at that position. And that's why he's at Auburn now. But LSU's fifth or sixth best guy is Auburn's best receiver. I mean, that's the problem. You asked about Ashford, how it's different. I mean, in theory, he should be able to help move their running game. It just hasn't really happened. But the thing I'll tell you, man, they got up 14-0 last week on Missouri and then didn't score again. Against Penn State, that was a 14-6 game at half, but Auburn kicked 2 field goals from inside the red zone. One of them was a 21-yard field goal. So, I mean, they were inside the 5. So twice Auburn in the first half against Penn State drove the ball and came up with field goals. But my point is, they've on the yardstick, it hasn't always looked terrible. It's been finishing drives and self-inflicted wounds and settling for field goals, especially early in games. So that's I just want to see LSU start fast today. If they start fast, I think you have an opportunity to have the whole crowd turn on their coach and the players and just have a day. But man, if you let them get out to a lead, then I think it's just going to be a tough slog all day today.
You think Coy Moore is better than Trey Palmer?
I think they're comparable. But isn't that a great example? Trey Palmer's the best receiver at Nebraska.
Right.
I mean,
that's why I was asking. Those two guys were way down the depth chart at LSU. I maintain that this is the game that Kayshon Boutte comes out of the witness protection program. That I don't know, call it a gut feeling that they're finally going to mesh and get him involved in the offense today.
It would make sense. And the fact that, he kind of took the day off last Saturday. And look, I believe that if they were playing Auburn last Saturday, he would have played. It was just an opportunity against New Mexico to sit him and let some other guys play. So I'd love to see it, Andy. And I think this is one of those games, if you remember 2018, everybody remembers Cole Tracy's kick. What people forget about is Derek Dillon's 79-yard catch and run, which got LSU back in position to even be in the game. And sometimes you have to have those big explosive plays, and that's the thing for Kayshon. I don't need Kayshon to catch 10 balls. I'm sure he'd love it. But I'd love him to catch the one that he makes a guy miss and then houses it from 60. I mean, that's what he did against UCLA last year. I mean, that's what that's the skill set he possesses that no other receiver on LSU's team has and few in the country have. So that, I don't need a stat sheet stuffing day for Kayshon. I just need the 1 or 2 game-changing plays that he's capable of.
Late in the game last week, or at least in the fourth quarter of the game last week, something happened that probably only me and you, because we had post-game to do, Brian Polian, because he's the coach, and Nathan Dilbert's parents were watching at that point in the game. But Dilbert went in and drilled 2 kickoffs out of the end zone. I maintain that this could be the beginning of the fix for LSU's kickoff woes. What say you?
By the way, Hanny, there's no L in his last name. Goes to show you how insignificant that actually.
It's Dilbert. I've been saying Dilbert. I've been saying Dilbert all week.
So it's either Dibert or Debert, and I have yet to get a confirmation, but I know it's not Dilbert.
Okay, so I am looking at this again.
Kelly says Dibert. Kelly says Dibert, I think.
He says Dibert? Okay.
I don't know.
I'm going to blame this on my poor eyesight, and I've got my glasses on, but I just looked down, and so it was okay, so Nathan, number 31. Nate D is kicking off. So tell me, can he keep this up and fix LSU's kickoff problems?
Man, I hope so. I am very much in favor. I know you and I share this opinion. I am very much in favor of, just blast it through the end zone, put him at the 25, make him go 75. Like, we both agree on that. I can appreciate the attempt to angle a kick, to try to cover a kick, but you're not good at it. This is the Cameron Gamble fiasco that Les went through when he'd want you to, hit the sky kick in the left corner inside the 5. It's like, well, that's great in theory if you make it work, but when the kid keeps kicking it out of bounds, it don't work. So yes, if what are we going with, Dibert or Debert? Are we going with Dibert?
I'm going with Nate D.
Nate D. Okay, so if old Nate Dogg can just boom it out of the end zone, I completely agree. make Auburn go 75 yards with that offense that has been largely unable to do much this year. Yes, you and I are in agreement.
Yeah, don't kick the ball 65 yards and hit that matchstick head over there. I mean, it's just too hard. Dilbert was the cartoon character. The guy in the office. Remember? That's where I got that from. He was a cartoon character, a comic strip. Dilbert, right? Okay. I owe him an apology. Yeah. I've been saying it wrong all week. Okay. I am going to make it a point on the broadcast, because I'm sure they asked. Okay, their eyes are better. They're going to say his name when he kicks off. I'm going to make it a point to get this right.
We can ask Chris Blair later when he's here.
Ooh. There's a good idea.
How about that,
yes,
Annie?
We're going to do that. All right, Whiskey and Wine immediately following the game between LSU and Auburn. You ready to go?
I'm fired up for it, man. Hopefully this Auburn post game is better than last year's, which after Bo Nix's theatrics just was not a lot of fun.
No, it certainly wasn't. Thanks, Cone. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys. See you.
And we will take a break. Get you update. The 2:30 games have kicked off. We'll let you know what's going on when we return here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery. Siegel 98.1 Game Day.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like. Again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning.
98.1.
The dependable storage college football scoreboard. Dependable storage. Let us store your stuff. DependableStorage.com.
We start in Fort Worth. This is an astounding score. TCU leads Oklahoma, number 18 Oklahoma, 55-24. TCU has put up 647 yards of total offense today. These 55 points are not coming on special teams. They're not coming from pick sixes or scoop and scores. This is straight offensive juggernaut for TCU. To put that in perspective, 647 yards, and there's still 7.5 minutes to go in the game. LSU, when they demolished Oklahoma in the playoffs, had 692. There's a decent chance that TCU is going to exceed that. So if you remember how badly LSU beat Oklahoma that day, TCU is beating them pretty much along those same lines today.
On par. And, if memory serves, that was a pretty good LSU offense that year.
I forget the quarterback's name.
They
but
were
he
decent.
Was yeah. That's a good receivers, too.
Pretty solid.
TCU is laying a whooping on the Sooners. James Madison leads Texas State 26-7. That's late in the third quarter. Halftime score number 12, Utah leads Oregon State 21-13. UMass also at the half leads Eastern Michigan 10-0. Another halftime score, Northern Illinois leads Ball State 24-7. In the second quarter, East Carolina leads South Florida 28-7. All right, the 2:30 games that have kicked off all in the first quarter. Number 16 Baylor leads number 9 Oklahoma State 3-0. Northwestern and Penn State are scoreless, as are Fresno State and UConn. Maryland an early touchdown on Michigan State. They lead 7-0. Central Michigan leads Toledo 3-0. Bowling Green and Akron are scoreless. Miami of Ohio and Buffalo are scoreless. Kent State leads Ohio 7-0. Kent State's got to feel like they're swinging the bat without the donut on it today, okay? In the first 4 weeks, they had to go to Washington, to Oklahoma, and to Georgia. Today they get to play Ohio. App State leading the Citadel 7-0. Marshall and Gardner-Webb are scoreless. Alabama took the opening drive into the red zone on Arkansas, but threw an interception at the 1-yard line. Arkansas punched it out to about the 25, but now they have to punt. No score 5 minutes in Fayetteville. Rutgers a surprising early lead on number 3 Ohio State 7-0. Florida State scored on their first drive. They lead Wake Forest 7-0. Kansas and Iowa State are scoreless about halfway through the first quarter. Virginia Tech an early lead on North Carolina 3-0. Texas A&M and Mississippi State going to kick off here in about 10 minutes. Earlier finals today, number 4 Michigan beat Iowa 27-14. Number 14 Ole Miss hung on and beat number 7 Kentucky 22-19. Moose, we only saw it once. The touchdown that was taken off the board, I don't know if they ever signaled touchdown. This was for Kentucky. Inside of a minute, it was a fade route to the near side in the end zone. Guy caught it. I thought he had a foot down, but I only saw it once. We were in seg, so I didn't see it. My friends on the text thread are telling me that Kentucky got hosed here. But anyway, the next play, Levis is sacked. He fumbles. Ole Miss is able to recover it, and they kneel the clock out.
And surprisingly, I haven't really been able to find out what happened on Twitter. I've searched and looked for videos of the call and why. It looked like a touchdown to me.
I thought so, too, in real time. If Twitter doesn't have an opinion, did it really happen?
No, I'm inclined to say no.
All right, keep looking. You'll find. Purdue beat number 21 Minnesota, hand the Gophers their first loss 20-10. Number 25 Kansas State beat Texas Tech 37-28. It was Georgia State over Army 31-14. Illinois moves to 4-1. They beat Wisconsin handily today, 34-10. Wisconsin now 2-3 on the season. Boston College a win, 34-33 over Louisville. Air Force taking another step toward the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. They beat Navy today 13-10, and Memphis beat Temple 24-3. And that is your college football scoreboard. Oklahoma State, with their initial drive, has entered the red zone. They are at the 17-yard line against the Baylor Bears. We'll take a break. When we come back, Zach Blackerby covering the Auburn Tigers. That is next here from Rouse's, where you download the app and get curbside delivery. Rouse's for all your tailgating needs. And remember, we never run out of ice. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
Do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Opposing Media.
Presented by Rev. Fiber fast internet made in Louisiana.
Zach Blackerby, easy for me to say, from Locked On Auburn. Good enough to join us. How are you, bud?
Good, man. Good. Always a pleasure to talk to you on Auburn LSU week.
Hey, man, you and I have talked about it before. I love this game. It's my favorite series that LSU plays annually. It just always means more for me. We were talking about if we should lead with the Brian Harsin stuff, but Zach, I just don't know that. Well, we're here to talk about the game, but I don't know how we lead with anything else because it's just it feels like outside looking in, like it's just a massive cloud over the whole program right now. What can you tell us about just the state of things there with Brian Harsin, boots on the ground?
I mean, it seems like it's unanimous. It seems like it's going to be a united effort, which is unusual at Auburn because there's 2 or 3 different political factions, right, of the powers that be. But I mean, it sounds like everybody's in agreement that it's time to move on. Brian Harsin doesn't seem happy. His family doesn't seem happy. The other Boise coaches that he brought with him don't seem happy. It seems like pretty much everybody's in agreement that it's time to move on. So we'll see about the timing. We'll see about, what the negotiations are regarding the buyout. But really, Matt, the only kind of debate is when do you do it, right? And I think I'm in the wait as long as you can boat. I don't think it really benefits you to let him go, but he's, it's done. This will be the last year Brian Harson's Auburn's head coach.
Okay. All right, well, let's just transition to talk about the game. I saw a report from AL.com that TJ Finley will not be available. So do we know if that's confirmed that this is going to be Robbie Ashford on Saturday?
Yep. Talked to folks close to TJ last night, actually. I mean, he's having a hard time throwing the football farther than 15 or 20 yards with no zip on it. So TJ's out. Robbie Ashford is in. Robbie Ashford should be good to go and should be the full-time starter. We did see him leave the game against Missouri, right? He's blocking downfield because that's the kind of kid he is. And he ended up hurting himself. Came back in a few drives later. But, yeah, Robbie Ashford should be good to go.
How much does the offense change with Ashford as compared to Finley being in there?
Yeah, I think it changes, Matt, but not as much. it should change more. And so what we saw with the usage of Robbie Ashford when TJ Finley was healthy is he came in, did his Wildcat stuff, and actually provided some pop, actually provided some, explosiveness. But now, as a full-time starter last week, you can't do that, right? You can't run Robbie Ashford 15 times a game and expect him to stay healthy. I mean, he barely stayed healthy last week. So it hasn't changed a lot, but it does need to change more because Robbie Ashford's feet, that's really the most dynamic thing on this offense right now.
So what has coming into the season, I think you and I spoke about this in Atlanta, like we talked about Tank Bigsby, and I mean, we saw Jarquez Hunter had some really explosive plays at Baton Rouge a year ago. Like, why hasn't the running game, why hasn't it been more effective?
Yeah, one, it's predictable. Two, it's Auburn's offensive line has been historically bad. Awful. And, going into Missouri last week, the storyline was like, okay, Auburn should be able to run the ball on Missouri because everybody can run on Missouri. And that wasn't the case. Averaging like 1.5 yards a play when Tank is in and when there's two tight ends on the field, and Auburn runs a ton of two tight end stuff. So it's just been a very boring offense, been a very predictable high school caliber offense with a historically bad offensive line by SEC standards.
Why? Why has the offensive line been – why and how? Like, what have they struggled so much at?
Yeah. Well, last year, PFF liked them. They were a top half offensive line. They couldn't run block, though, Matt, so they were okay from a pass blocking standpoint. I do think Bo Nix's mobility helps their grades out a little bit. I know PFF says they take that into account. I'm skeptical. It is what it is. But as far as, what you bring back from last year to this year, you bring back a ton. A lot of these guys came back and were like, all right, we're going to do the super senior thing, use the COVID year. But injuries still happen. Nick Brahms is a big part of this. He's been Auburn center for like 20 years, it feels like.
Right.
He retired from football before the season started. And the guy that stepped up after him, like, he wasn't ready. He got hurt early in the Missouri game. And so they're going to do some shuffling. I think they're going to have a brand-new offensive line just to kind of hope that it works. And they kind of ran out of bodies at center, so they're going to put Brandon Council, who's a super senior. He's been at guard. He's played some center and some tackle before he transferred to Auburn from Akron.
Yeah.
So versatile dude, not great. I mean, he's not going to, move the line of scrimmage by himself or anything like that. But it's just you got a bunch of dudes that a lot of these guys weren't wanted by other SEC teams. And so just looking at dating back to the Gus Malzahn era, they didn't really put a whole lot of guys in place other than JUCO dudes, which are finally just now starting. You look at Killian Zaire at left tackle, but outside of that, it's just a bunch of dudes that nobody else really wanted, consistent 3 stars, and they haven't been developed over their time at Auburn.
He's on Twitter at Z Blackerby. Locked on Auburn host Zach Blackerby is with us, giving us our Auburn preview. If I ask the big picture question, what is the path for Auburn to have any success offensively in this game? What is it?
Yeah, I think Auburn's receivers are actually pretty talented. We just haven't been able to see them consistently get the ball. But when they get the ball in space, they make the most of it. You guys know of Coy Moore very well. We saw him actually get an opportunity last week against Missouri, and he looked good. He looked really, really good. And so you need to see some of that. Javarius Johnson, over the first few weeks, led the SEC in yards per reception, I believe yards per target as well. And then, Matt, he didn't get a target against Missouri. When your offense was struggling, your best guy, your most productive receiver, didn't get a target. So get those two guys involved, and then find a way to get the ball in Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter's hands other than just running it up the middle, whether it's outside zone stuff, whether it's getting him involved in the passing game, whatever it may be. You've got to find a way to generate space and scheme guys open. But this offensive coaching staff has been stubborn, and they've chosen to not really decide, to change anything. Quick passes, doing things to help out your quarterback and to really help out this poor offensive line. They're not doing some of the no-brainer stuff that you do to combat that when you have a weak pass blocking situation. And so we'll see. Maybe Brian Harsin feels like his back is up against the wall more now than a week ago. I don't know how. I mean, it seems like even though Auburn won, it seems like he's even more on the hot seat. But they've got to make some of these no-brainer adjustments. We'll see if they do it.
Is the defense any good?
Defense is good. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I don't think they're going to get as much credit because they're on the field a ton. And I kind of expected them to wear down a little bit against Missouri, and maybe they did because Missouri did have that chance. You know, they drove it all the way down the field and had a layup for a kick, and they missed that, and they were about to score in overtime. So maybe they did break down over time. But, Matt, I'm kind of expecting this to be a close game at halftime, very low scoring, and then maybe halfway through the third, late third, early fourth, I think Jaden Daniels just starts finding chunk plays. But it's not because Auburn's defense is bad. I think Auburn's defense is actually pretty good. I just think they're going to be on the field a ton, and Auburn's offense is not going to be able to consistently move the football.
If special teams have been a big bugaboo for LSU this year, at various times they've been just bad in spots. How is Auburn on special teams?
Been a lot of conversation this week about Auburn's kicker. Anders Carlson, younger brother of Daniel Carlson. Daniel Carlson's one of the best kickers in SEC history. Set a ton of records. His little brother's not as good as him. And, you know, he started as a redshirt freshman, I believe, and it was okay. But last year he kicked like 70%. He's 4 of 5 on the season this year, coming off of a knee injury. But he feels a lot worse than 4 of 5 on the year because he missed 2 kicks that didn't count last week. But he got bailed out by either like a timeout or an offsides call, so it kind of worked out in Auburn's favor there. But a lot of concern about the kicking game. I think Auburn's punter is fine. And as far as the return game for Auburn, it's been okay. Nothing extremely explosive or anything like that, but you know, a solid return here and there, but nothing to write home about. I think Auburn's fine on special teams.
If Auburn wins the game, and look, seeing LSU as a 9-point favorite at Jordan-Hare is like it's
not enough.
It's
not enough.
It's just eye-popping to me, Zach. I mean, I've referenced this before. 2012 Auburn is the worst Auburn team I've ever seen in my life. They were 0-8 in the league, and they fired Chiz. That was a 12-10 game where LSU kicked a field goal in the third quarter, and that was only scoring in the second half, and LSU escaped 12-10. Like, I've just seen too many games in that damn stadium to think this is going to be a walk. So if there is a path for Auburn to win it, what does it look like?
I think the defense has to create chaos, which they have the skill set to do, right? And you know, LSU starting some young guys up front, so maybe they have a chance to generate some mismatches there. Auburn's edge rushers, Derek Hall, Ekuliota, they're really, really good, and so maybe that makes Jaden Daniels uncomfortable. Jaden Daniels, you know, we can all say what we want about the Pac-12. You know, I don't have a whole lot of respect for it. So I don't think he's really seen an atmosphere like he will Saturday night in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Maybe that rattles them some. I'm not banking on it, but, you know, you're asking me this question.
Sure.
So I'll answer it that way. But, you know, maybe that impacts him. Maybe communication's tough for LSU's offense to help out this defense. And maybe, hey, Auburn's defense has only generated 1 turnover so far, and everybody's kind of banking on the law of averages to start evening this thing out. Maybe they can force a few more short fields for this offense to help them out. I think that's the path to it, man. I don't see this Auburn offense just turning a corner, Matt. I have a hard time believing they're going to be able to run the ball against LSU's defensive front, and I just don't trust the scheme enough to get guys open in the passing game more than 15 yards downfield.
You think LSU wins it going away?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if the line was LSU minus 14.5, I think I'd still take LSU.
Wow. Okay. Zach Blackerby locked on Auburn. Follow him on Twitter at @ZBlackerby. Nobody covers Auburn better. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, buddy. You're the GOAT.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Off the bench on Game Day. Off the Bench is heard weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from OTB, here's T-Bob Hebert.
And we return here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery on your groceries. T-Bob, how are you?
Yo, what's going on? I am doing very well. I am in my office. I have 5 games on my dual screen monitors. I actually might have to bump it up to 6 boys now that Mississippi State and A&M's getting underway. So I am living the good life. Just looking at all this college football. It's wild out here right now, boys.
All right. I don't know if you saw the exact play sequence, but the end of the Kentucky Ole Miss game, we were told Hunt tipped us out it was an illegal formation. It called a touchdown back. What did you see? Did you think that Kentucky got hosed a little bit?
No, they definitely didn't get hosed. So what it was they had a 50-yard pass get down to the 8-yard line, and then that is an offense that all day has been notoriously slow-paced, right? Take the full time to huddle. Slow the game down. Don't don't give in to the pace that Ole Miss wants to try to make you play at. And after the 50-yard pass, looking to gain advantage, rightfully so, they hurried up to the ball, sprinted down there, got right on it, snapped it, beautiful fade touchdown. But the slot receiver was not set. It was nothing controversial. He was just moving at the snap. So that's brutal. And then Ole Miss, back-to-back drives get in the red zone only to fail with fumbles forced by Ole Miss. I mean, you look at it, Hanny, and before this game, I described Ole Miss as being like, I don't know. I'm not a physicist, but I believe there's a term in physics about like potential energy, right? Maybe like potential kinetic energy. And that's what this Ole Miss team was before this game. There was a lot to like. You just didn't know if it was real. or not. And now it feels like they've been shot from a cannon. I mean, who a couple years ago could have fathomed that Ole Miss would win a top 10 game at home with their defense in a game that was relatively like a defensive battle overall, and it would be their 13th straight win in Oxford. It would move them to 5-0 on the season and move them into the top 10. Like, it's a just massive win for Ole Miss. Not just the win itself, but how they won it as well.
Decent chance that they will be 7-0 when they come to Baton Rouge here in a few weeks. T-Bob, give me your best Auburn story. Everybody's got an Auburn story. Give me from when you were playing. Give me your best Auburn story.
I mean, duh, dude. I had a 13-yard kick return. It was probably some people call it the greatest kick return ever in Jordan-Hare. I mean, some people talk about the kick six, but like it's like kick six in my 13-yard return in 2008. So that actually was a really fun night. I mean, that was a night where Jarrett Lee, as a true freshman, after pick six at the end of half, led a comeback and actually got named on game day. What was it? The game? Oh my God, why am I blanking right now? With Mark May and Lou Holt.
College football final. College football final.
They were giving out
helmet stickers.
Helmet stickers. Sure.
Yes, he actually got Offensive Player of the Week. Jay Lee did that week, and I remember getting a trophy and everything. I thought it was really cool. But that was a fun night in Jordan-Hare. Not fun was 2 years later when ran up against the best football player I've ever seen live in real life, Cam Newton. That was just, I'll never forget when he stiff-armed Pat Pete going in the end zone. I was just sitting on the bench, and like that crowd was going crazy.
Yeah,
and I just remember thinking,
he was decent.
I remember thinking this is over. Okay, that's it. And I think we were only down maybe 10 or something at the time, but it was the only time that ever felt like that. You could just feel that that was a wrap.
I still get mad when I see that highlight.
Well, if you lose to Cam Newton, you just go, okay, well, that happens. When you lose to
Nick Fairley, Nick Fairley embarrassed
he was on that team
me, everybody. I'm not gonna name any other names, but he went down the line and just embarrassed every single lineman at one point in the game.
Well, the thing about that team that is so just remarkable to me is Newton was the first pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. Fairley was a first-round pick. No other starter on that Auburn team played in the NFL. There were a couple that were on the roster. It was literally those two guys and a lot of good college players, obviously. Yeah. But, you look at the 19 LSU team, and the whole team is basically in the NFL.
Everybody.
T-Bob, tell me how big a deal this is to flop Frazier from the right side to the left side.
I don't think that it is that big of a deal for a couple of reasons. The guard positions are relatively similar with one another. Like, sure, it's mirror footwork, but it's not like going center to tackle or something, right? Or guard to tackle, where you were talking about some drastically different things you're going to be asked to do. It's literally just mirror footwork. But probably in the context of LSU, why it's an even less of a deal is because Brad Davis has been cross-training this group constantly. It's something that he has preached from day one, versatility, being able to play more than one spot on the line. You've seen it pay huge dividends where Emory Jones is ready to play tackle, even though that wasn't his main position during camp, which is still shocking how quickly he's just really taken to being the starting right tackle. But no, it's not the worst. The biggest problem there is simply going from Garrett Dellinger, who's been likely your best O-lineman, to Frazier, who has been the weakest the last couple of games.
T, you brought up Emory Jones there, and I'm glad you did because I wanted to go to tackle because I think that's really an interesting matchup this week. You have two freshmen out there at left tackle, at right tackle, going on the road in the SEC for the first time. And by the way, they're going to face Derek Hall, a senior defensive end, and Ike Leota, also a senior defensive end for Auburn. Is that a matchup that maybe we've kind of overlooked this week when breaking down this game?
Maybe I'm a hater, or maybe I'm not good at breaking down D-line film, right? Because everybody told me that Mississippi State's D-line was really good. I thought they were big. I didn't think they looked particularly good. When I've watched this Auburn defensive line, well, it likely is the strength of the team, and they're not. I don't know, man. I didn't think they looked terribly big or dynamic. That said, being freshmen, like, inherently is going to carry volatility with it, right? And especially going on the road. So maybe I'm being too suckered in by what was, like, essentially two near perfect games from the tackles. Like, maybe I'm guilty of giving them too much belief, and they'll just have a classic kind of freshman misstep. But I didn't enter this game feeling like just the film showing either individual matchup as a big disadvantage for LSU. Because one thing you've got to remember, the big knock-on effect of Jaden Daniels' ability to run and the implied threat of his legs is that you have to maintain disciplined rush lane. So as a defensive end, you can't go all out on spin moves on the insides, up and unders, whatever you want to do, because if you do, well, okay, you've just broken the seal in the pocket and Daniels just take off. So it's like when you have Jaden Daniels works even better in the context for this LSU team because you have two freshman tackles, not just because maybe it helps them if they get beat, but it literally makes the rushes that they will face more straight up and easier.
T-Bob, give me an idea what you think is going on in that locker room right now, given, I don't want to say quite lame duck status, but pretty close to the coach. How do the players, you think, handle something like that?
It's tough, man. I don't know that I can ever really answer. I don't know that I can answer that handy with any, like, valuable insight because, frankly, I've never been a part of it, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know what that – how checked out would you be? How defeated you be? Now, I will say this. I think that last year at LSU, you definitely – I mean, you saw some of the effect of it. Now, I think a key difference there is they went ahead and announced that they were moving on from O so early that then you could kind of have each game almost like a rallying, like, you know, hey, let's do it like one more time together. Whereas this just feels a little more toxic, a little more up in the air, like mom and dad are fighting, like dad's like, I'm not leaving, but then mom's like secretly trying to force him out. When it's very greasy. It's a very, now look, if you're in the SEC and you're at Auburn, you're a good football player, okay? And so there is always the element that at the beginning of the game, you're going to be locked in, best of your ability. You're going to be fired to play. You're going to believe that you win. I mean, we saw the Coy Moore quote. But it's with Harsin and everything that's going on, that is a brittle mindset. It's very fragile. That's why I think it's very important for LSU to start fast. Unlike the Mississippi State game, like, do not give Auburn any belief, any hope. Go ahead and start fast and disabuse them of any notion that they're going to win this day, and just put them away early, man, because they will break. That's the whole point of this. Being very long-winded right now. But it's just to say they're brittle, and they should be easy to break today.
T-Bob, we appreciate it. Whiskey and Wine coming up after the show.
All right, boys, take it easy. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks a lot. T-Bob Hebert.
Running Boards Marketing, handy as well. They can help your business stand out with giant LED mobile billboard trucks. They drive eye-catching ads that are impossible to miss all around the city of Baton Rouge. Check them out at runningboardsmarketing.com.
We're here at Rouse's, and this is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shoppa style.
Oh, yeah!
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Keys to the V.
Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill.
Jeremy Hill will be joining me on the post-game 90 minutes after LSU and Auburn, but he's also going to join us right now. Jeremy, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm sick of Alabama win, but what do we got to do about it?
It's exactly what we were talking about
during the conversation in the break.
We're thinking about changing the channel. I asked T-Bob, so I'll ask you too. What? Give me your best Auburn story, your best memory from from this series.
Oh, man, I got to go back to my man, Matt Flynn. I was at that game as a recruit, very young recruit, still very green in the football world, but I still remember vividly, like yesterday almost, Demetrius Parrott scoring that touchdown right into the student section, just watching that entire stadium erupt. I don't know if I want to double down on the clock management on that drive, but scoring that touchdown was amazing.
And you were the recruits at that time, that corner of the end zone, that would have been, if you were standing on the sidelines or were you guys up, that's kind of close to where you guys were, right?
Yeah, that was right where. So we're kind of probably closer to that end where the students are, but a little more like on LSU's sideline. So we were right there. I thought I still remember that play like yesterday.
Had a beautiful view of it. Okay, when you look at LSU for over a 4-game stretch now, from the beginning to now, what is the biggest improvement you've seen, and what is the biggest thing that you still this still worries me?
Yeah, I think for me, the offense, man. I think you watch that first half of that, Florida State game, and even, bits of that first half against Mississippi State. Even though they're not playing, the top tier competition, I thought they'd done, a lot better job of improving in the run game. Jaden passing the football, and those are kind of the improvements that I was really pleasant to see. But as far as negatives go, I'm still worried about special teams. I think as far as kickoffs go, as far as punts, just everything as a whole, I think that's something that they're going to have to continue to get better at as the season goes on because, as you play these games, teams are going to be a lot better on special teams, and, the really good teams will make you lose games for that.
When Daniels went down last week with the injury, first of all, what did you think of the play? And second of all, do you think that this is going to be in his head a little bit now that, hey, through 4 games, I've taken quite a few shots here?
Yeah, it's definitely in your head. Especially, he's not Cam Newton or KJ Dexter, any of those guys. More, not up to, fully built out kids. So, to me, if I'm Jaden, man, I got to start getting down and sliding. That's something I really haven't seen much from him this season. We know he'll pull it down and get some yards of that nature. But, as the season goes on, those looks pile up. And you don't want to be taking those for your starting quarterback. So last week, definitely never want to see your starting quarterback, getting injured or hurt, especially against a team like New Mexico. So hopefully they'll kind of coach him up. Like, yeah, it's fine to take off, man, but once you know there's not much left, just get on the ground and let's get to the next round.
Haley, if we're talking keys to the victory here, I mean, one thing we've heard a lot about has been the improved communication in the defensive secondary. You're going to have a change there, obviously, without Major Burns, and maybe you get Joe Fouché back at the great time. But what do you think maybe we see from a communication standpoint? Obviously, Jay Ward will be back there, but how different is that going to be having Joe Fouché come back for the first time this year?
Yeah, I think, obviously when you lose a player like Major, who to me has been playing very well this season, he's been making plays, been really, really aggressive. I know everyone's going to pick on him for that missed tackle against Mississippi State, but, he's been playing well. But I think that's why, you do what Coach Kelly did this offseason, and you go get veteran players in the SEC who played in a lot of these road games and have played in these environments. And the moment's not going to be too big. And so I think for LSU's defense today, especially on the road, you don't have to worry about the fans in Death Valley screaming to the top of their lungs. Should be pretty quiet when Auburn's on offense, so they should be able to communicate pretty well.
Jeremy, it's been a quiet first month for Kayshon Boutte. Is tonight the game where maybe he breaks out and has one of those big contests?
I hope so. And I think, hearing a guy like Cord Moore kind of bump his gums early in the week, those are the type of things that can kind of, ignite that receiver room and get those guys going and want to, prove, just how talented they are. That's something I talk about all the time.
You think Kayshon heard that?
Oh, did he? That tweet went up pretty quick if you're Kayshon. So, yeah, I think, that's something I talk about, all the time. Just how well him and Max were playing last year. They kind of had that rapport. Him and Jaden kind of have to get to that level. Kayshon's your best receiver. You kind of saw them in that Southern game really try to give him the ball early. So I think it's another opportunity, as Arkansas fumbles another football, to get Kayshon going.
Yikes. They 14-0, and honestly, this could be worse because Alabama threw a pick at the 1 yard line. I think I'm gonna start watching A&M and Mississippi State. That'll be more fun. All right, Jeremy, we'll see you after the game for post game 90 minutes after the end of this one, and thanks for being with us on the pregame.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
Jeremy Hill will be with us on post game. LouisianaCharterFishing.com is presenting the Catch and Cook Fishing Experience. It's happening until the end of the regular football season. At the end of the season, one grand prize winner will be randomly selected and notified. The grand prize winner will enjoy lodging in a charter fishing trip for themselves and a friend, along with special guest Chef Jay Ducote. The crew will enjoy a full day of fun on the water, get to go catching with one of Louisiana's best captains, and after the fishing, the grand prize winner and a guest will head back to the camp with Chef Jay Ducote for an unforgettable cookout and dinner for all. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for anyone who loves fishing, food, and fun, and entering to win is easy. All you have to do is visit GoCatch.com. That's GEAUX Catch.com and complete the contest registration form. That's GoCatch.com. And also, in addition to the grand prize winner, there'll be 5 runners-up who will all get prizes valued at about $100 from LouisianaCharterFishing.com. Take a break. Voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. When we return, this is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice?
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Inside the stadium. Inside the stadium. Presented by GoFlow IV Spa. GoFlow IV Spa, where athletes come to hydrate so they can dominate.
And we head on over towards Auburn, Alabama. Check in with the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. Chris, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, Charlie. We're closing in on Auburn. Not quite there yet.
You guys spent the night in Montgomery, I believe. Sometimes you can get a feel for how a team's going to play based on how the trip goes. So, how's the trip been going?
Yeah, the trip's been going well. I mean, get a chance to see the team in moments coming to and from their team meetings there in the hotel, and I mean, it's. As you might imagine, we kind of touched on it last week, Charlie. It is a business trip, and from top to bottom, you can get that sense from the staff, from the people who work in football operations, to obviously the players. I mean, they certainly have their game faces on when we got up early this morning.
Chris, last week I think it was on the coaches show, Brian Kelly was asked about his trips in the Southeastern Conference, and I think it was Georgia and maybe one to Missouri before Missouri was in the league. So this is his first go-round at a lot of these places. What does he say about going into a place like Jordan-Hare?
You know, he started earlier this week, Charlie. I'm sure you talked about it on Monday, that being on the road, being in these environments, that's the enemy this week for his team. I mean, he talked about it being a modest win streak, and he emphasized modest a couple of times because he knew this is where those habits are starting to come to form. He's starting to see his team prepare and practice the way that they expect them to week in and week out. So now you try to continue those good habits, and now you got to take it on your first true road test of the season. And he's also well aware of the fact that this rivalry is about as crazy, and you can expect the unexpected. So I think this week it was really a focus on, yes, there's going to be a hostile environment, but we have to do what we do between the white lines. And if we continue to do what we've done the last 3 weeks, really going back to the second half of that Florida State game in the opener, we can do that. We can, again, do well, take a step forward, because he knows that, this is, while everybody's got all the noise around Auburn, they still are 3-1, and they still are 1-0 in the SEC. So I think he knows there's going to be, some distractions there, but he's just trying to, again, pound home the idea of doing what we do and doing it over and over and over again, and having a very short memory. Play happens, get ready for the next play.
All right, you're the person to ask this, so I'm going to ask you to pronounce the name of LSU's new kickoff man. Nathan.
New kickoff man.
Yeah, I'm catching you without your chart. It's either Dibert or Diebert that kicked off at the end of last week's game. I've been calling him Dilbert all week because my eyes are bad, and I saw an L that wasn't there. So you tell me how we're saying it's Dibert. So how are we pronouncing this? Because I got to go apologize to this guy.
I was told, and I only say what I'm told. It is Nathan Dibert.
Okay.
I don't know that I would bet the mortgage on it, but that's what I was told, so that's what I'm going with.
Well, we'll go with that. I've already mispronounced it once, so if I mispronounce it again, I'll just blame it on you. But the point of it is, Chris, is that these two kickoffs were blasted deep into the end zone, and LSU's had some problems with coverage. They've had some problems with kicking the ball out of bounds. So, in my optimistic voice here, I'm thinking that maybe he is the solution to some LSU's kickoff woes.
Yeah, Charlie, I think you're right. If you go back and listen to the Brian Kelly show 2 weeks ago, I talked about, again, special teams overall getting incrementally better from the first game, but there's still some places to improve. And I brought up the fact that teams have been able to find some return yards, those hidden yards in the special teams, especially on kickoffs. And Coach was quick to remind me, yes, we've got some breakdowns we've had on kick coverage. He said, but we also shouldn't be allowing them to bring the ball out. We should be kicking it out of the end zone. You have that option. You have that ability. So I think you may be right. And obviously, Dibert coming in was known to have the strong leg. Now, I think they're still working on accuracy a little bit. But I think that's what we'll see because he has the propensity, at least thus far, to yield no return.
All right, I've been asking everybody on the show this question today. I think I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask anyway. Your favorite LSU Auburn moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Coach Tracy's.
I figured. Okay.
I think so because, I mean, again, you go back and watch that game. We all remember those final seconds, but that was a hell of a battle. It was a slugfest, and to be able to execute in that situation on that stage and, again, be able to just walk off and get out of Jordan-Hare with a win, it's certainly one I will not forget.
I got it right. I'm quitting on a good one. I got that one right. Hey, Chris, have a great call and a safe trip back, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, we're rolling into the little village of Auburn as we speak.
Very good. You guys have a great trip. Chris Bayer, voice of the LSU Tigers. We'll take a break. We'll come back, get you an update on what's going on around the world of college football. We are here at Rouse's. Download the app and get curbside delivery. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office.
Eagle 98.1.
The Ralph's Market College Football Scoreboard. Ralph's Market, where quality and customer service are a family tradition.
We start in Fayetteville, where Alabama has just scored to go up 21-0. But the story is Bryce Young, who has left the game with an injury. He's in the tent. Don't have an update yet. Jalen Milroe came in at quarterback. Alabama got a big punt return, and Milroe took it in from about 7 yards out, and it is 21-0. Alabama with the lead. We'll see what we can find out about Young before the end of this show. Fourth quarter scores: number 12 Utah beat Oregon State 35-16. Eastern Michigan is leading UMass 14-13. That's at the end of 3. Another fourth quarter score: Northern Illinois leads Ball State 31-21. It's East Carolina over South Florida 41-14. That game's in the third quarter. Second quarter score: number 3 Ohio State leads Rutgers 21-7. Also in the second quarter, number 9 Oklahoma State leads number 16 Baylor 9-3. Number 11 Penn State leading Northwestern 14-0. Number 22 Wake Forest leading number 23 Florida State 21-7. Sam Hartman has thrown 2 touchdown passes for Wake Forest. Kansas leads Iowa State 7-0. That's about midway through the second quarter, and Kansas has first and goal at the ISU 9. Fresno State leads UConn 7-6. That's late in the first half. Maryland leads Michigan State 14-13. Extra point attempt forthcoming so that Michigan State can tie the score. North Carolina leads Virginia Tech 21-3. That is late in the second quarter. Toledo leads Central Michigan 24-3. Bowling Green leads Akron 17-14. These are all second quarter scores. Buffalo leads Miami of Ohio 14-7. Ohio and Kent State are tied at 7. Appalachian State leads the Citadel 35-0. Marshall and Gardner-Webb are tied at 7. Texas A&M and Mississippi State are scoreless. That game's about 3 minutes into the second quarter. And Florida Atlantic and North Texas are tied at 7 as they begin the second quarter of play. Earlier finals today, it was number 4 Michigan beating Iowa 27-14. James Madison beat Texas State 40-13. Number 14 Ole Miss beat number 7 Kentucky 22-19. Kentucky had a touchdown taken off the board late because of an illegal formation. TCU beat number 18 Oklahoma today 55-24. Final total yardage for TCU 668 yards. That's just 24 yards less than what LSU put up on them in the playoff game where Justin Jefferson, had the 4 touchdowns and Joe Burrow had that monster game. TCU basically put up the same offensive number today against OU. Purdue beat number 21 Minnesota 20-10. Number 25 Kansas State over Texas Tech 37-28. Georgia State over Army 31-14. It was Illinois over Wisconsin 34-10. Brett Bielema's group now 4-1. Boston College nipped Louisville 34-33. Air Force beat Navy 13-10, and Memphis beat Temple 24-3. And that is your college football scoreboard. We haven't seen Young come out of the tent yet. He slammed his helmet down on his way in there, but he was walking.
Yeah, he was walking. The initial report from CBS was shoulder injury.
Yeah.
But he slammed his helmet down with his left shoulder, so that's throwing arm, Manny, there, I would imagine, for Bryce Young. Haven't seen an update yet.
But you said his left shoulder?
Well, that's what he used his left arm to slam his helmet, so I'm assuming it's his right shoulder.
Yeah, so his right shoulder. Okay. Yeah,
throwing shoulder.
I got what you're saying.
And okay. Well, no. Arkansas drops a.
You're not really thinking that Arkansas.
No, it's just they were never going to win. You know.
You didn't think we were going to win, did you? It's a little skip phrase. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back and wrap things up here at Rouse's. Download the app and get your curbside delivery. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com.
Eagle 98.1.
At Rouse's, the Bears count down to kickoff 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Yeah, 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Okay. We saw Bryce Young going back to the locker room. Early reported this may be a separated shoulder. He had the right arm was straight down, kind of. Would you say dangling?
I would say dangling.
A little bit.
I would say
he
dangling.
hit his left arm up. And his right arm, this is right before the half where they got actually 6.5, almost 7 minutes to go to the half. So Bryce Young went in, he slammed his helmet down, went into the injury tent, came out, and headed to the locker room. So this is Jalen Milroe took over at quarterback. Now, Alabama on the first drive that Milroe was in got a big punt return, inside the 25-yard line. So the drive was pretty quick, but Now they get the ball back up 21-0, and the ball's closer to midfield, 41-yard line. 41-yard line for Alabama. So this, potentially, Musso, I don't think that this game is in jeopardy. They have been much the best here. This score could be worse. They threw an interception at the 1-yard line. They missed a field goal.
It could be 31-0 right
Easy.
now. Very easily.
They are dominating the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Arkansas can't do anything with the football. This looks nothing like the Alabama team that was at Texas.
Far, far from it.
This looks like the Alabama team that was
I was going to say,
preseason.
This doesn't look like the Alabama team we've seen on the road much of the last couple of years even. I mean, this looks like the Alabama machine that we've been accustomed to.
It really does. So it's 21-0, and even if I can't imagine Young's going to return this game given the body language on the sideline and all that. So.
And you're up 3 scores. What's the point?
Right. But, depending on how long he's going to be out, there are tougher games down the road. All right, let's finish up talking about LSU and Auburn. I do have it in the back of my head that even this is a wounded Tiger. Nobody knows what it's like in that locker room, but it certainly did seem like last week they weren't focused. I'm not going to say they didn't play hard because I don't think that's true. I thought they played hard, but I didn't think they played particularly smart. They got away with it. The end of the game turned in their favor. At this point, with Georgia looming next week, Brian Harsin's time here we feel like is short. But there's still that thing in the back of my head that says they may have one big rally in them. They may have one big effort left in them, and I do agree with, I think 3 or 4 of our guests said today, is like, listen, get off to a good start and extinguish hope, if you will. I used to make fun of Gordy when we were doing the show, and we do Keys to the V, and he said, well, I need to get off to a good start. I'm like, Gordy, you're never going to come here and say get off to a bad start. But in this particular case, there's some extenuating circumstances.
No, it feels similar, right, to LSU's trip to Kentucky last year. Kentucky got off to a really fast start in that game. You had the fumble by Max Johnson, and it felt over. If LSU can mimic that, especially on the road, I'm with you. I'm very interested. It's hard to not talk about the Brian Harsin thing. That is such a giant cloud that looms over this game, and it's over. It's over. Okay, I mean he's not going to be back next year. He's probably not going to make it to the end of this year. Everybody knows that. So get off to the fast start. I am very interested to see both offensive lines, though. I think that so much of the focus for both teams, with Auburn missing their center, now under their third center, with LSU moving Frazier over, having 2 freshman tackles on the road for the first time in conference play. I think from a football standpoint, that is something I'm looking at eagerly for both teams.
So if Auburn does come out, and if it were me, and it's not, but if it were me, I would come out with a renewed determination to run the football. I don't want to put this game in Robbie Ashford's hands, okay? I want this game in Tank Bigsby's hands, okay?
Of course.
If I could look forward to the box score at the end of the game, if I'm Brian Harsin, I want to see Tank Bigsby 22 carries, 122 yards, and a touchdown or 2 touchdowns. I want to see that average up in the area of 5 if I can. And I would, even if I fell behind, I would still try to do that in the interest of managing the game. And if I can do that, then I take some of the pressure off of my freshman quarterback. But they have not. That offensive line has not given them the opportunity to really do that. But if it was me, this is Tank Bigsby's game if I'm Auburn.
I think that, look, we led the show kind of talking about that. He's been a top-tier running back in the SEC. The fact that they have not been able to get him going, whether it's offensive line or what, is just dumbfounding to me. It's
and if I'm LSU, I want Robbie Ashford to have the ball as much as possible. Now, if I'm LSU, this game belongs to Keyshawn Boutte. All right, this is your opportunity. Okay, he's been very quiet through the first month of the season. I thought coming into the year he was LSU's best football player. I still think that's probably the case, although we have not seen it. He's been called out by a former teammate. Oh. he has been called out, in a way that he can't help. Jeremy Hill, really accentuated that. Oh, yeah, he heard it. I said before the season that Brian Kelly and Kayshon Boutte needed each other because for Kelly, this guy makes your job easier. This guy is good enough to win you a game with one of his best performances. He can almost win you a game by himself. And for Boutte, you get a wide range of opinions on exactly where in the draft he's going to go. First round, probably. But there's a lot of that's a lot of ground, okay? There's a big, big difference between being the 10th pick in the draft, being the 30th pick in the draft financially. And if you're Boutte, these are the kind of games that can move you up.
And this is a game he had a lot of success in last year. I mean, I think he had 79 yards receiving after the first drive of this game last year in Tiger Stadium. So, yeah, go do it again. I'm with you. Feed the ball to number 7.
So if those are my keys to the V, if you will. It's Bigsby for Auburn. It's Boutte for LSU. I want to thank the folks here at Rouse's for being our hosts every week, although next week we will be here for postgame instead of pregame because of the early start time. Download the app, get your groceries delivered curbside, all of your meats, all of your soft drinks, all of your beer, your wine. Never run out of ice here at Rouse's. And, you know, they've even got a little tap set up so you can have a nice draft beer while you're shopping.
It's my favorite part. I love that so much.
If you're coming in here on your way into campus, have yourself a beer, pick up all your groceries, and head towards campus. And again, don't forget to download the app. We'll be back 90 minutes after the end of LSU and Auburn. For Matt Musso and for all of us back in the studios at the flagship, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Spin Eagle, 98.1 Game Day.
Exclusive presentation of the LSU Sports Radio Network. It's football time.